How are you? This beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. Uh, excuse me for being to be tired. Excuse me, uh, and late. Oh, that's later than we've been in a minute. We've been what is this? 21 minutes. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to get in. But yeah, we're late. Sorry. Let's kick it off. So I had a revelation yesterday. Um, Guitar revelation. So while I was playing this, the melody, it didn't sound like anything I recognized, even though I know what I was playing, until I started humming along. And then it dawned on me that the vocal tracks in singing and songwriting is a melody all its own. I was like, I knew that, but I kind of didn't put that together. It's not like that in rap music. Rap music, uh, I would say the vocals drive what's going on. Uh, and MC is a good name of the game. But I would also say sometimes the beat is a king by itself. So yeah, anyway, I mean this I'm learning to fly, right? But I ain't got wings. Is that the line? Tom Petty, learning to fly. Uh my tummy is upset. So I have room temperature water around here. Here you go. Oh. Ooh-wee. I think this is a sign. Ugh. I have a ton of what I call 9/11 dust in my stomach, which every now and then causes me all sorts of problems. Um, let's get to it, shall we? What are we doing today? Are we doing music or are we looking up the news or what are we doing today? The Sunday should be a guitar session, not Saturday night. What sat? I don't know. It's been a while since we did this, right? I'm allowed to reconfigure every 4 or 5 months, right? We reconfigured the time. Yeah. All right. I'm obsessed about a lot of things that no one else is obsessed about. So I'm unconcerned about all these people who try to do what I do, but it's what am I doing? I'm talking politics and race, quite frankly, social justice, social justice, racial fairness, racial justice, women's issues, like all this shit from the '60s that everybody used you to vote for and told you to demonize, but they won't fix because it keeps you running back to them saying this is broken. Look, if I'm a plumber and you have a leak in your school, and every time there's a leak, you call me and you pay me $5,000. Uh, what you're doing is you're keeping me funded because I'm gonna make sure there's always a leak, and that's what this racial shit is going on. But then when there's a leak, you can run to like your constituents and tell them how wow this is outrageous. I'm your hero. We will get this fixed for you, and they'll go, oh, thank you. Finally, he's gonna fix the leak, and it's all that. Wow, the police out of control. Wow, the bank's out of control. Wow, but don't worry, we in Congress will fix it for you. And you go, oh, great, because we voted for you, and then 2 years later, just more and more the same. And then you have to go on with your life, right? You have to. No one can protest every day. Did I not shut this off? No one can protest every day. No one. No one. And this is what we've been doing for the last 60 fucking years, just perpetually protesting while nothing gets done. So yeah, I'm watching people in the news perpetually demonize Donald Trump, which is fine. But at the end of the day, you know what Donald Trump should be able to do? Fucking retort. It's America, and they completely silenced them, and they completely silenced a president. Think about that shit. So even if he's wrong, you want him to say it publicly so you can go, that guy's a fucking idiot. But what you can do, you can't combat what he's saying, even the idiotry. So you rig the system. And I laugh because I tell people they've been rigging the system against black people forever. Why are you acting like they can't do that? And in some cases, they rigged it against unruly fucking, you know, white folks and Asian folks and women of this group, right? Because it's not like it comes down from on high, like it's the uh, communist chair saying deal with that person in its province, right? Everybody in America had to fiefdom, so they can do whatever they want in this fiefdom, up, and including murder, which has happened. So when I get into this stuff about the American government and all this stuff, the first thing I do is before people get up on their "aren't we wonderful" shit, I'm for that too. Giant flag. I love July 4th and Independence Day. No, July 4th and Independence Day, same day. July 4th, Memorial Day. And all these Labor Day for the for the workers, right? I've always observed Juneteenth before it became a bullshit holiday. Uh, yeah, from the 13th to the 19th, by the way. What is this 1 day shit? So yeah, all this stuff where you just kind of go, oh. And then you have to have these conversations. This is why there aren't any. I never have guests on this program because people will go down rabbit holes of what I feel, and I'm like, before you get into your feelings, let's know what the facts are. So I don't fuck with talking politics to a lot of these people because a lot of people also, we're Americans, we're rude as fuck, don't know how to have a conversation, right? They run out of shit to say and then they just get snarky, right? And that's people from my neck of the woods, right? The hip hop community. Uh, and other people are just arrogant about being right and they don't know shit. I used to out argue fucking college educated people. My friend John, God rest his soul, was a lawyer. I used to love talking with him. Uh, and he was the same way. How dare you? He's got this chip on his shoulder about something. And I assumed it was his education. So here we are on a Sunday. You want to look through what the world after, you guys been coming here uh off and on occasionally to know my flow, right? My style is a little ridiculous. I'll grant you that. It's a little is my face ashy? I think it is. Um or is that the whiskers, gray whiskers growing in looking like a freaking prospector? Um I think there are several issues going on in American society. I think first of all, the civil rights movement is over. It really is over. I see the only thing they do is they want to gin you up for elections, right? Uh, they were talking about Donald Trump like he was a head Klansman. And this is people who've been in Congress for 50 years, the Senate for 50 years, who did nothing for anybody. The only person they did anything for was their drug addict kid, right? They made sure his ass didn't get arrested. You see them corrupt all the time, insider trading, uh, essentially rape at work. It's just, how am I supposed to then go to them and ask them for what is it, remunerations on some of these issues, right? I'm tired. It's 7:30. Oh no, it's not 7:30 in the morning. It's 5 to 8 in the morning on a Saturday, baby bubba. So what are we doing? We're gonna have a little coffee. Uh, we redouble our efforts because here's the thing. I know no one's listening. I know no one's raising any money. I know no one fucking gives a fucking flying shit. I'm sick of all these people. I'm sick of. Uh, I'm critical of the church too. Here's why. The church did not take care of its flock, right? And then over the course of 60 years, they can't believe that no one goes to church. What? You didn't do you didn't do anywhere near enough to keep the faith of the people in church, in God, and in you as their minister or their rabbi or their imam or whatever that case may be. You didn't keep the fire of faith burning in that well, right? In the soul of people, right? You didn't. So now people are like, man, I'd rather go to the clubs 6 days a week, chase these men's, chase these women's, ooh, get the latest new bauble from this clothing line or that clothing line. And churches are going out of business, right? Why? Because a lot of these churches have just been a tax dodge or a money grab. And some of them were set up for political purposes. I mean, churches in the South thrive. Why? Because they're political and they're not supposed to be. Not supposed to be political in the church. Think Washington give the fuck about it? No, because they got their own fiefdom. All right. If you're in Maine, you should give a fuck what churches in Texas are doing. You absolutely should. And their whole we're the perpetual victims of America is why, yeah, some of these people you should stop taking from Europe because Europe is incredibly a racist place, and the only people who like it are white Europeans or American. But look, if in the head, there's another thing: you're only white in America. Once you hit Europe, you're European. Why are you white here? Because there's black here. There's opposition, right? And that's what the situation is set up for. Opposition with this small amount of people. Just like, in Palestine, the Jews have the issue because there's a whole more ton of Palestinians than there are Jews. So you have to keep the murderous murder happening. You have to keep the opportunities low. You have to keep saying that you're the victim of them who don't have tanks and F-15s from America. So if you're not stupid and you'd like to think that you're a thinking person, and you may disagree with me, but as long as you thought about it versus this is what I was taught and this is what I'm marching to, that them's the problems, right? You can't keep going, oh, that's horrible. Let's raise money. But then it becomes a raising money gig, right? And I don't know, man. America, people act like it can't slip into the mire. I'm telling you, it can slip into the mire. Uh, and my whole thing has always been some character, some Svengali is gonna come and not be crazy. He's gonna have all the energy of all these people that you hate on social media, who gets all this attention, right? All the Kim Kardashian attention, millions of fans and followers, and people listen to her, right? They're, excuse me, they're gonna have some of that. They're gonna have um, some of this technical know-how, like Alex Jones, who's running around telling you that Sandy Hook didn't happen, even though they were dead babies. There's who's this other guy who's telling you that 9/11 didn't happen, even as I myself walked around there through like 4 inches of dust, which I shouldn't have done. Right, as people are dying, well, all these people injected themselves with some weird cancer just to make the government right. You know what I'm saying? You should not be able to just say that. And these are people who are millionaires. They make money off of this. You should be able to make money off of this. Meanwhile, Raytheon, McDonnell Douglas, and all these government contractors, quite frankly, they're the pond they play in is profiteering trillions of dollars into their pocket from the state treasury, but you can't keep a fucking road open, right? You can't get a Pell Grant to go to college, right? And then they sit it in these giant offshore accounts like they're waiting for America to fail that they can skip out with all the money. It's the most sinister shit. And I've said this before, so there's no shame in it. It's not like I can hide it. Like if I got, someone listened to me on the internet today and was like, "Hey, you should run for something tomorrow." It's not like I can like clean up all this shit I said. The only thing I can do is defend it. I look at Israel as a sinister little country, just like I looked at South America, South Africa, right? They have one mode of operation with no plan to change it. So yeah, it should fall because every day you create more heartache and pain while you shove money in your pocket, claiming to be the victim. Have you seen that tape where this lady's walking around Israel, asks them what they think should happen to the Palestinians, and everybody's saying genocide, quite frankly. Now, I know that this is, but I mean, maybe they talked to 100 people and these 20 people said this, and then they put it on the tape, and then it gives you the impression that all of Israel wants this nonsense to continue, like the murder, right? That could be it, but it could also just be what the fucking truth of it is. Like when they walked around the South in the 40s and 50s, and that's about black people, and they blame white Northerners for coming down and stirring up these happy black people. They had no problem until these Northerners came down here. Meanwhile, people are living in hovels with no heat and hot water, no running water, and you live in a giant mansion because you pay them 50 cents a week. I mean, this is all well documented, right? You get in trouble for talking about it because whenever I have a conversation, I bring all this shit to the table with me. Like every conversation, it's like I bring a suitcase full of facts and history. And the people I talk to sort of bring a beer and like a 5 minute conversation. Then the conversation runs for 20 minutes and they're out of sorts and angry. And this is boring. Why don't I go to the party? Why did you come over here to have this serious conversation if you are not serious? And this is where we are, right? People are in Congress are not serious. They just want to be senators and Congress people. Meanwhile, us in the leyland out here in the hinterlands are getting our heads handed to us. I mean, how are you going to put a base in China and China is supposed to be your enemy? And you do business with China to the trillions of dollars. We should stop doing business with China, and we should. Our allies are shady as fuck. And I turned out another thing about China that I looked at yesterday. Apparently, they got two issues that I didn't know. One is they've got a fuel issue, right? Like they're still on fucking coal, and they've got a lot of people, and everybody wants them off coal. But how are you going to keep everybody warm without coal? Here's another thing: they get their coal from Australia, right? But them in Australia are in this thing about the South. I'm about to say the Mediterranean, the South Mediterranean. What? The southern uh like the top of Africa, the top of Australia by the Perth side up on top. It's not Queensland. Queensland's out here. Gold Coast is up here. What's above Perth? Anyway, that whole area swings up into uh like Micronesia and uh I want to say Singapore is in my head, right? But it's a lot of little islands. Why don't we just look it up? Why am I sitting here in my mind's eye? I could just show you a picture of freaking the place. You say that I'm the only one. Mhm. All right, let's look up. We want to look up Asian skin. Why don't we look up Australia? Here you go. Look up this. Oy. All right, so this is Australia. Good eye, good on ya. Tasmania, New Zealand. This is where the elves and the goblins live, where Mordor is. This is all, by the way, this is all going to be underwater in about 50 years. Not here, not here, but these islands are going to shrink considerably. So this is New South Wales, this is Queensland, this is Northern Territory. Northern Territory needs an actual name, Australia. Seriously, it's not the 1860s. Name it something. Northern Territory. It's like remind me of Montana Territory before it was a state. All right, so yeah, East Timor, right? Yeah, we can make this bigger. The greatest Sunday Islands. Okay. All right, so all this area, Malaysia, Singapore, I was right, Singapore, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, right? The Philippines. Look how close it is to China, right? So let's get this going. Uh, China is right here and it has 1 billion people. They get their coal because it's really close to Australia, which has about 40 million people. Huh, 25 million people. All right, so Australia has 25 million people. Good Lord, China could overrun Australia just with people alone. Um, Look how far they are away from. This is a world away. All right, so what was I saying about here? Right, so all these places, India and Pakistan. Look, this is why I go in on England, and I'm like, why? What? Why do? Look, all this place is a shit show, right? But we're only concentrating on this shit show. I mean, China controls Mongolia, right? Parts of it anyway, with Russia, which controls parts of it, giant ass Russia. Um, and a lot of people think when the thaw melts, Russia and Africa are going to become gardens, right? Because the water's going to I mean, not the water, but like plant life and all this shit is supposed to, because this is supposed to cool down, right? The Earth is cooling. That is what they're telling me. Uh, no, wait, the Earth is getting warmer. I'm sorry, is what they're telling me. Um, I think it's getting warmer here. God, okay, I'm a little. Here we go. What is that? Isla Galapagos, Isla Fernandina, Isla Isabella, Isla Santiago, Santa Cruz. But look, they've got one giant road here, right off the coast of probably about 200 miles. 500 miles. All right. North, south, right? In Papua New Guinea. So China has all these problems. China is still on coal. It gets all of its coal from Australia, but they're sort of in it because China is now fishing. Get this shit. China is fishing off the coast of California and in the Gulf. They're pushing their luck. They really China wants to prove that America is not whatever they think America is. But here's the problem. China had better watch its ass because I'm still of the mindset that China cannot beat America in anything. Its people don't want to join the military, right? They have to join the Communist Party to have a life. So you essentially have a conscripted army. And you can't say, man, this sucks, because that'll be your ass. You'll spend 30 years in jail. Right. So who are they gonna march on? Who are they marching on? They have wet dreams of running all this place, right? Let's go through it. They want the Philippines. I think they want as low down as Malaysia. They have a lot of influence down here. But they definitely want Vietnam and Cambodia, Thailand, Laos. We all know they want Nepal up here where the Dalai Lama lived, right? Uh, which is skirting the border of India. India and Pakistan are perpetuating that war. Here's the thing about that: they're the fucking same people, quite frankly, right? Just like Africa is all at war and they're all Africans. So once you erase these names of countries, right, in Africa, and you just make them what, let's call them states, right? The Mauritania state of just like you have the state of New York and the state of Texas, they're all the same fucking people. And this whole place is a giant shit show because of England. Africa's conflict. I mean, England has been at war with Spain and France and Germany and, for like 500 years, right? And when those people weren't at war with each other, the other Europeans were at war with each other, like Romania, Ukraine, and Poland, right? And Greece and these wars, and Norway, Sweden, and Finland with the war, right? I mean, there's always conflict. And then you find these people who have loincloths and spears, and you go, oh, we can war with them and steal their shit because they're not formidable. And this is where we are, right? We're always at war, us, America, are always at war over here with these non formidable people. They don't have air forces, they don't, right? But then you got your ass kicked excuse me, in Afghanistan because of the arrogance of people and the help of Russia. Don't get it twisted. The Afghanis did not kick our butt. They got a lot of help from like Iraq and Syria, which is still on fire. Um, Saudi Arabia, I mean, it's supposed to be our ally, but come on, Yemen and Oman, they all sent troops, and and they're not sandal people. They have cities and skyscrapers and da, da, da. This is about religious, and you're not going to change it. So let's just have our giant religious war, clear out some of the population, right? And remember, China went to war with Korea a million years ago. And as they marched there, they took all these random women from villages as rape toys to go on your. I mean, it's one of the more sinister things I've heard since America just allowed common rape to take place every day for 300 years. And here's another thing about America. I don't want to talk about racism. Yeah, well, fuck you. Go back to Europe. And this place, Europe, has no love for brown people. Everything evil in the world has come out of this place, right? This place. Well, not everything. The people who did not speak English were at war with each other, and they gave little fucks about. I think they wanted to make one giant Europe. Meanwhile, England was on some other shit. England is still a country because I think because of us, quite frankly. And I think people don't like to hear that, but I think that's true. Uh, there's a lot of Democratic Republic of Congo. Look how big this country is. And there's, I mean, South Africa. I mean, all of this is all desert. Algeria, Tunisia. I tell people all the time, they think that, look, these people, right, these were the first Africans who walked around the desert or through, however they got there, right? Could have went here and then came around. Anyway, they ended up here. And for about 5,000 years, they've been able to get to England and Greece, right? Walk through, could come up to, right? So these people have always had like darker skinned people who then married and intermarried and intermingled for 1,000 years. So these Africans, they won't call themselves Africans, look different than sub-Saharan Africans who look like me, right? The slave trade was driven by sub-Saharan Africans from a lot of people believe uh, this region, like Sierra Leone, right, the Western Africa. So it's lost to history, other than the boat ride over. But most of your slaves came from here. What a beautiful country. America should take over all of this and stop right here at Venezuela because these people need to fix their shit. At this point, Guatemala and Nicaragua shouldn't even be a country anymore. This island of Haiti, somebody should fucking go and fix that shit. Most of Africa needs to be united under some decent something or other. Uh, China, I hate to say it, is trying to consolidate all of this. China wants Japan. It wants uh, some of the Philippines. We gave it Hong Kong, right? Taipei is dying to get to take over this tiny little independent democratic island of Taipei, which they had a war with China. They had to fled. They fled here all those million years ago. So China looks at this as unfinished business. Uh, they want, like we said, they want Nepal. They want Bangladesh. Not Bangladesh. They want uh where's the Dalai Lama from? Nepal, right? No, he's not from Nepal. He's from where's the Dalai Lama from? Dalai Lama is from Tibet. Uh, so where's Tibet? Islamabad. Like, and these people, they just want to murder each other off. This is what should happen here, but it's going to be hard to do. You need to freeze these people out, not let trucks in or let trucks out. Put drones over it and let them eat each other until, I mean, cause look, they they're just going to be a sinister and dark problem. Leave them to their own devices. Call it like the dark world. And let them do whatever they're going to do until 30 years later they realize, man, we really could have used some computer know-how and some knowledge. Maybe we should have listened. But that's going to have to be their own revelation. You can't come in there with guns and make them make them revelate and make them come to terms with like a new philosophy. But I mean, I've been critical of Europe, but let's not get it wrong. America needs to fix its shit too, right? There's a lot of countries that don't say anything about the violence as long as they're in business with American cash. This is what you have to watch. The Russians, they like to play games over here, right, with our aircraft. I guess it's a military thing. I wonder what their military says about East Siberian Sea, Arctic Ocean. It's the same ocean. Uh, Greenland is, yeah. So yeah, we got this globe. Nobody's getting, what is this, Hawaii? Look at Hawaii out here in the middle of fucking absolute middle of nowhere. Johnson's Atoll. Who's Johnson? And why does he get an atoll? Wow, look at this. This is just a placeholder because no one is even flying anywhere near this tiny little space to get a good picture of, like, let's pick the big island. Oh boy, look at this. Hawaiian Islands. Let's see if we go back to the atoll. I mean, it gives you the shape of the bottom of the ocean, which is amazing to me. Yep, here you go. Oh, did someone actually fly over? And yeah, they did. Good job. Wow, it's an air base. I guess that makes sense. It's a military air base, right? It's got to be a first warning platform for us Americans, right? So you got this here. Stop that. Stop that. You got this here, but you got this over here. But I guess that was a million years ago because now you can know people are coming into your zone from like 1,000 miles away. I guess my whole thing is I'm stuck on this idea of let's all get our shit together, fix these problems, and go to excuse me, go to Mars or the moon or whatever. But I'm fully aware of the people who are saying that are also uh bogus people. Can I say that? Where is dude really? I don't even know where it is now. All right. Ooh-wee. So we're thinking about moving these because I was like, man, if I move this to 10, I'd be able to come, clean up some stuff, do a little laundry, do a little run. But you know what happened? I'll sleep to 10 and then get up at 10:30 and do this, and then go. I didn't do X, Y, or Z. Like the only place we don't really hear a lot of nonsense from is here, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, right? They sort of seem to be just going about their nice little lives with no wars and little conflict, trying to deal with COVID, and you know, but everyone else there's drama. A ton of drama from the Middle East. I'm sick of it. A ton of bullshit from the Europeans, Spain, France, Germany, England. You know, a ton of bullshit from the stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Pakistan. Just a bunch of bullshit from those people. Uh, I mean, Mongolia. I mean, the Chinese are just fucking ridiculous. And then there's a lot of societies that are our allies, but quite frankly, they're hangers on. Look at Japan. Look how small an island Japan is, right? They were formidable. I mean, they had a better plan than China. Then China became not a democracy. Started running on uh not democracy. They were running on capitalism with their communist system, and now they're just cycled with a lot of fucking money. Uh, you shouldn't have been buying shit from them. Shouldn't have been letting them make anything. California, Canada, Australia. Jesus Christmas. Canada only has 38 million people in this whole place too. Yeah, so again, I think several things are going on here. I think people want, well, I think the Chinese want to control all of this. Um, and they want to be the world's policeman. But the Chinese government would not care if you were dragged out of your house, beaten and raped in the street under a fucking giant sun, you know what I mean? In broad daylight. They don't care. They care about money, things, and stuff. At least, even if we're mostly bullshit about it, we'll go, hey, you can't treat your women like that. That's fucked up. We don't want to be in bed with you unless you adjust some of your social things, right? But and Russia will be like, no, no, we don't care about your internal lives. You can eat babies, out of a bucket with a spoon if you want. It's not our place to tell you that. And I'm like, the immorality of that as you rig this system. Look, Putin is a dictator in Russia, and he's done it by how we do it. He put his friends in office. They're just more aggressive and arrogant about it. He put his friends in office who just yes, rubber stamps, and yes is everything. Right? He's supposed to serve 2 terms no more, and he's been there for 20 years. So his first 2 terms were legit. His last 4 were not. And this is what I think we in America want. We want to be able to rig the system, and then sit in the seat of power forever. But nobody knows how to or has taken the shot at it yet. So everybody's gets to be these weird governors who, I mean, the idea that you're writing laws that nobody can wear a mask in school. If I'm concerned, I should be able to wear a mask. So one with the opposite, everyone has to wear a mask, which is the New York mandate, right? And some people don't like that. But the other was like, if you wear a mask, you're fired. I mean, how does that make sense? So I don't know, man. It's the whole environment is squiffy AF. Coffee. All right, I gotta blow my honker, guys. Give me a second. Woo. All right. So, all that talking comes down to a couple of things. What could you possibly do anyway as an everyday, average, run of the mill, try hard citizen, right? What can you do? I can't do anything. I got no power, right? Can't run for anything. I got no money. If someone showed up with money for me to run for shit, I speak like this. And I think the American ear is so attuned to hearing pretty words from lawyers that when I showed up and told you that the devil is not in the details, it's often is, but in this case, the devil is in that suit and he's telling you to vote for him. I don't know. I think it's gonna be somebody though. I've been saying, I called the rise of Donald Trump a long time ago. I didn't call him Donald Trump. I said people are so sick of these people that they're willing to give anybody a shot. This is back when I lived in New York and I wanted to run for mayor. I was like, maybe I can run for maybe I can be mayor because people are fucking tired and they'll give me a shot. But the problem here is you don't want to be that has to happen at a higher level than mayor or governor, right? He's never had it. But then you see it happening all these opportunists like what's the actor who wanted to run for governor in Texas? Matthew McConaughey. That's because, oh, well, I think I can, so I might as well go do it. Not because he gave a fuck about any of your issues, or any, and he'll go from his giant mansion, right? His giant warehouse full of uh, bibbles and baubles to him to government office where he'll do what? All of a sudden he knows how to do X, Y, Z. See, and that's another thing. If I manage to run for something, let's say running for president with me talking bullshit, and I leverage this conversation right here into next week, people going, hey, he's great. We want him to run for president. What is my platform? It's, I can tell you what I think the problem is. But when somebody comes up and goes, and here's the game they want to play with you. Well, you have to be a lawyer to read this stack of books that they don't, this stack of documents of right to work and coal mine issues. They don't read them shits either. They take marching orders from companies and the coal mines who want. So you go in there in my position and you take their hands off the reins of government, right? The whole thing, the first thing you need to do is take these people out of government. And you can do that because they're all breaking the law, right? Quite frankly. They're all breaking the law. People don't pay taxes. People are in bed saying a little too comfortable with foreigners, which crosses the line, right? They had a couple of years ago. They had this is what China does. China honeypots people. So if you're American naval officer, commander, whatever, and you're stationed in the Philippines, right? It's not China, but it's close enough to China. China will have operatives there, prostitutes, to get you drinking. And oh, this is a very elite place in this 4-star restaurant. Look at all the other generals, and before you know it, you're following everyone else is doing it. And then they got this guy, this lieutenant. Was he a lieutenant? He may have been a colonel or major. But yeah, you get too close, and before you know it, you're a traitor. And I think that's what happened with that guy who lives in Russia, who took, first of all, why are you downloading shit out of the government database? Right. But then the American media told you he was a hero. If he's a hero, then he should be able to come back here and the American people should insist that he not be prosecuted for anything. But nuts to that. You come back here, they're going to hang you from a pole and give press briefings about it later, for or against, but still they get their way, and that is a point. I'm like, I'm not going to pay these taxes. I'm going to do whatever I want. We have war. Everybody's going to war, but my kids, America is such a corrupt system, lends itself to corruption via, quite frankly, Europe. I've said this before. We're not the same country, and I think a lot of these small countries use us by not Saturday Night Live, the Little Rascals. Remember Butch and he had Warren was his buddy, and his Butch was the bully, and Warren was always like at his side telling him, "Yeah, beat him up." So the bully was Butch. The bully was like twice the size of all the other kids, and Warren was half the size of all the other kids. So, but Warren always had you like in a fight, and you got to watch that. Why we look? If you remember World War II, no World War One. If you remember World War, no, you won't remember World War One. World War One kicked off, other than the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, right? Uh, Kicked off because then the government was like, "Yo, well, we're going to war, and you're my ally, so you have to go on my side, and he's my ally. He's going to go on my side, and he's my ally. He's going to go on my side." And on the other side, the guy was like, "Yeah, well, he's my ally. He's coming into this war on my side." And before you know it, everybody in the world has this kind of, "Oh, we're just buying coffee beans from you." Yeah, but we also have a aggression pact in that coffee bean statement of us selling you coffee beans that you have to, if we declare war, you come in with us. So everybody's at war over one dude. It caused all these lives, right? And exploded so into the Second World War, right? I mean, who died? I don't think anybody in the royal family of England, Britain died, right? And it was really for them. Um, we can look that up. We didn't have any American presidents' sons die, right? Although Kennedy, the oldest Kennedy boy, famously died on a super secret mission, which gives it more lore. Oh, he was a, for all you know, none of that is true. And as a kid, I used to eat this up and be like, "Wow, heroes, heroes." Then as I got older, I was like, "I wonder how much of these fucking stories are true with these people." For all I know, I mean, they had you thinking that George Bush was a war hero until people started asking questions about his record, and then all of a sudden, all his paperwork broke down. Same thing. They'll arrest me tomorrow. They'll throw me in the brig, the jail, or whatever. And then they'll just start talking about me. And I can't say anything because I'm locked out. It's like what started this conversation, right? About Trump. Trump should not have to sue to speak to the American public. He was the president of the United States. So corporations, these shifty politicians who don't have any real standing or real uh, following, um, but they're just empowering. They just use it to make sure he could not speak. And then they reach into corporate America, Twitter, uh, uh, YouTube, uh, Twitch, all these things to make sure the president of the United States of America could not give you his opinion of anything. How sinister is that? So before you come up here and go, "Well, I don't like," nobody's asking you about that. Nobody's asking you what you like. He should still be able to say his stupid shit. And now the bleed out of that is no one can say anything on these social media platforms. And I don't care about England; they have their own rules. But all of these are American companies, and they were supposed to have grown up with an American ethos of your right to say it, and other people's right to hear it and go, "That's bullshit." Now you can't say it. It's a problem. It's a problem. You can't say it, and you've got all these old people and these young internet people trying to pass you a message. They're wholly insincere. I don't believe anything uh, Nancy Pelosi has to say. She's completely incompetent. So is Biden, but I've been saying Biden was completely incompetent for 15 years, right? Back before Obama picked him, which was my first clue that Obama was not serious. And I said this before. I think America gave Obama a chance because they were desperate to get rid of this bullshit, and they looked at Hillary and was like, "No, so excuse me, absolutely not. You've been fucking it up for 30 years, arrogant, excuse me, arrogantly so, right? All this shit. She got booed in. Was she knew she was in Scotland? She got booed in Scotland this week. They called her a war criminal. She's not a war criminal. She's a warmonger. She's a warmonger. George Bush is a war criminal. I mean, at least know what something is when you use the term, the phraseology of it. She's no bueno, as my Mexican homies would say. I don't have any Mexican homies. Isn't that sad? I don't have any Mexican homies. Used to have a couple when I lived in New York. Latinas of all stripes, right? Uh, Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, just Latino rainbow, which was cool. But here, not so much. Not so much. The only people I actually hang out with here in this beautiful town is black people. Man, tell you, the South is really segregated. But just as segregated as New York. Don't get it twisted. Just because you all ride the bus together, don't mean you're friends. Um. So yeah, my whole thing is, why hasn't it worked out? Why are we still fighting these things from when we first put it on the burner 50 years ago? Because the people in charge, I mean, Joe Biden has been in the Senate since 1970, and he has done dick. And I refuse to be polite to people who just padded their pockets while people die. You know how many people are dead while he sat in these offices and these chairs that he was supposed to help? Who's got the best idea of how to make America better? As we always keep saying, the soul of America. What even is that? Because if there is if there is a soul of America, what is it? It's not anything Disney like you're trying to tell us, right? This is a Biden quote, the soul of America. If I mean, what is it? Tell me what it is. Don't give me fucking political double talk and triple talk. What is the soul of America? A lot of us would say it's racism and sexism, but you don't want to hear that's the soul of America. So what do you think the soul of America is, Joe Biden? Bullshit artist. Yeah, we're coming down to a point where I won't even be able to say Joe Biden bullshit artist. It's going to be like China. Well, if this was China and I was sitting up here, how many shows of this? This is our ninth Sunday edition, so it's like almost 2 months. But I'm here every day, right? Talking politics and playing guitar and talking politics and playing guitar and talking politics and maybe a strum on the guitar, but talking politics, talking politics, and talking politics, and then maybe looking at the guitar, but talking politics. Uh, if this was anywhere else, don't get it twisted. If this was China, they wouldn't even kick my door in at 3 in the morning. They'd come and get me full daylight and let everybody know you don't want to be this guy. I really do believe that America is falling into the sea. And what? I mean, the landmass is going to be here, right? You're still going to have people here. You're still going to need. Excuse me, good lord. You're still going to need um, cops and firemen and people to keep the country going, no matter what you call it. Whether no matter there's going to be somebody in charge, no matter what you call them, right? Somebody needs to be in charge. So, what is it going to be, America? Are we going to fix these problems, or are we just going to descend into madness and then call ourselves America do and put a king in charge of some other shit and go, yeah, now you know what? We don't believe in what would these people not believe in? They would make it a theocracy. Now we believe in, and if we had a government not acknowledging, what is it? Making no laws to enforce or deny any religion. They're like, yeah, now no, we're all Christians, and not just Christians, we're conservative Christians, and there are no Catholics, because if you know anything about the fucking Catholics and the conservatives, they don't see eye to eye on anything. It isn't. It's not. Oh, we're all God's people and we can figure it. No, it's like, So it's going to be that. And then on top of that, neither one. How about this? Both those groups have a long history of racist bullshit. Yeah, the Catholic Church. How dare, am I going to get canceled? Fuck you. I got history on my side. The Catholic Church has a giant history of racist bullshit. Racist bullshit. And that's hundreds of years long, right? But you don't like that? Okay, the Catholic Church has a recent history of fucking rape. And like I said earlier, people have given up faith in your church. That's not on them, that's on you. Oh, y'all need God. You need to come back. Don't stop. Don't, no. What you're saying implies that I'm stupid. And I don't have eyes on myself to see what you've done in churches with a collar on your neck with the full authority of God. I don't trust you. No. And that's the Catholics. You want to go into the fucking conservatives who had racist Klan meetings in their churches, who told people to go and blow up black churches? What? Yeah. So what are you going to do? Just kind of come up with a new talking point about how, oh, the new America will be better and all inclusive, and the very next day start arresting women who had abortions and doctors who gave abortions, right? Uh, uh, Arresting every black face for anything and giving them 30 years like you always have, right? Not wanting immigration from Mexico or Haiti, but just throwing the doors wide open to any European who can come here, immoral or not, right? I say this all the time. America is too many people of disparate backgrounds, right? Somebody needs to put us all on the same page, or we're going to use, and I said this before too, we're going to use the biblical term of the Tower of Babel. And if you don't know that story is essentially a whole bunch of people decided to build a tower up to heaven to see what God was doing, and God didn't want any visitors, so he miracleized everybody and gave. First, I've always liked this, sir, because I was like, oh, it explains all the languages in the world, right? First, I mean, because back then, what there was maybe 100,000, 200,000, maybe a million people, whatever the case. What was the world population 2,200 years ago? Uh, World population during Jesus's time. Let's go for it. Uh, World population during Jesus's time. What's the world population in year one? That's pretty good. What? 255 million? Roman Empire subdivisions. 45,000. Okay, 45,000 here. 700 to 7 million to 10,000. In the Saba dynasty, Parthian Empire, 8 million. Okay, I can buy this. This makes sense to me. List of states by population. Year one. Dhaka, Kingdom of Mercia, back there. Okay, all right, I'll buy this. Germany. Well, because obviously there were people in the middle. There were people in Jerusalem, but there were also people outside of that, right? All right, good. All right, I'll buy that. 255 million people globally. All right. So, you get all the man, anyway, I don't know. It's I don't know. I sort of lost my train of thought after the population thing. But I think my point on this chat today, which sort of came out of nowhere, is some of our allies are not our allies, they're our enemies. Some of our allies are worth more trouble than they're fucking worth. And here in the homeland, uh, people are still doing the same evil stuff they did 300 years ago to stay in power, and we haven't addressed it. And eventually, you're going to let so many people in here that you've let another nation in, and you're going to have to deal with it. And when I say that, it won't be talking; it's going to be violence. Um, oh my God! An explosion in Kabul has resulted in a number of civilian injuries and deaths. The Taliban says, "Yep." So yeah, they should. This is where they're going to be for the next few years, right? Them at war with ISIS. Okay, religion, right? If your religion says you can kill people, maybe your religion is not for real. Maybe someone slipped into your religion, got high enough in authority, and then just turned your religion on its head. This is what happened here in America. You let anybody open a church, and then all these racists are opening church in the South. All these common bullshit artists are opening churches in the North. And now everybody's just making money off churches and being important and trying to get this evil person elected to this seat so nothing good can happen for anybody but that person and that person's family. But that's all right. Eventually, everyone will be hungry, and then you'll wonder what happened. And you can come back and look on these tapes and other tapes like this, excuse me, all over the internet. I used to think, but then they'll just cut off the internet. What are you going to do, people? We should be fighting for a better day and making sure that the country stays solvent. And neither one of those things is happening anymore. Kabul explosion. Explosion reported outside a mosque. Outside a mosque in Kabul, several civilians killed. Blast targeting Kabul mosque leads a number of. This is Muslim. See, yeah. So, who told you that God told you to blow up innocent random people? Who told you to do it at a mosque? Don't tell me these people have any connection to God or godliness or any of this other shit. August 26, 2020, September 2nd, 2020. We will not forgive Biden, says Biden retaliation. 3 killed him. And then he killed a whole bunch of innocent people, killed a guy who couldn't leave but was on your side philosophy wise. You killed him and his family. Little babies, 2, 3, 5, 7 years old. That 2, 3, that 5-year-old though, I'm just kind of like, what? Why is this much an old picture? Because this some dude wearing American fatigues with American guns that we all left there. And remember, the Taliban forces standing guard in Kabul. Oh my God. Subscribe or sign in to read the full thing. I'm not doing either one of those. Wow. All right. So I don't think we even need to open up. Look, let's act like we're opening up and reading it. Today in Kabul, ISIS-K blew up something outside of a mosque because they say they're more godly and Muslim, and the Taliban, who now controls the place, says nothing to see here, and then they continue to go about hanging people from fucking cranes because they did any number of bullshit things like were gay or made fun on the internet or some shit. Whew, I mean, it's just it is what it is, and what it is bad. It's what it is. It's not bueno, my homie. It is 8:45. All right, so we may be rolling this one. Do we want to do the whole show? Because normally the Sunday show goes to like 11. We started at 7:30 and it goes to like 11. 9:30 is really early. 10 is about average. 10:30. I think normally we stop at like 10:30. But I obviously woke up hot. We have run as long as we run. We're not going to look up that Kabul explosion thing because, come on. Some people will call that chickens coming. I was about to say sheep. Chickens coming home to roost. In political spotlight, Supreme Court embarks on an extraordinarily controversial term. And there's also the thing about the media. The media pushes lies all the time, right? Or pushes puff pieces for people all the time. So now you have to be smart enough to know when you're being lied to, when you're having smoke blown up your skirt, a puff piece, and when you need to be fucking fully outraged about shit. The Supreme Court gets it wrong all the time, and it's because, get ready for it, they have been putting their friends on the Supreme Court forever. And the only person that I remember who did not do that was Donald Trump. I'll tell you why. I'm saying, oh, here it is right here. Right? Donald Trump wasn't a denizen of Washington. So Amy Coney Barrett, I guess somebody was like, hey, put her on. So he put her on, but she wasn't a friend of his, right? But all these other people were friendly. They've known each other for 30 years. So I give Trumpy Trumpster a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I give Trump a lot of leeway because I think the people there undid him to stay there and still get what they want, right? I mean, there's a segment of here who had a segment of our society who had him move the neutral American embassy in Jerusalem, in the Middle East, to Jerusalem City proper. So now, man, look, if you have enough power that you make the American government move their embassy for you, uh, I think people should know what's going on. America has given so. This is another thing that I say. Look, the midterms are going to be interesting because America has given a lot of shit to other people and nothing to citizens here asking for like just fairness. So what seems to me a no-brainer is the midterms coming up are not going to be awesome for some people. And they're going to guilt you and, oh, we got to keep the faith and we're making no progress. And people are going to be like, yeah, fuck you. Um, just like the just like the conservatives demonize black people. Oh, if you vote for him, there's going to be more crime, more crime, more crime. Uh, the let me tilt down for a little bit. The Dems are doing the same thing, just opposite. Oh, if you let them in, oh, it'll be more bad. Oh, you know, it'll be more bad stuff, and you won't be able to do this, and they're all racist, so you got to vote for us. But you're not doing anything, and at this point, I don't care. I don't care which one of you get control, as long as one of you gets, so I can stop watching the fucking food fight. So if the conservatives gets it and want to make this place a hellhole and it breeds war or whatever, fine. If the Democrats get it and they want to give the whole shop away to Israel, fucking fine. I don't care. Um, there you go. And that's the way I'm looking at it now. Right? Something has to settle. Everything is too up in the air. Something has to settle. And I think that these people like it this way because they're the princes of America. They've made the president extraordinarily weak so they can sit and be congressman for 50 years. I'm for a strong executive. I've always been for a strong executive. I'm for a strong military. Always been for a strong military. But I've grew up poor and I've seen shifty fucking people. I'm not for the bullshit. And I've seen a lot of bullshit. And Joe Biden is a fucking giant part of that. I mean, Joe Biden does not have a good track. Joe Biden, quite frankly, has a racist fucking uh, voting history. And he's the president telling you that there's no racism. Yeah, no, I think the Democrats need to come across. I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. The idea is your your number one constituency, you're like, I fuck them niggas. And my whole position is, all right, done with you and what you think I should be doing. We're burning sage if we can keep it burning. Now it's half burning, which is a problem. But it is getting smoky up in here. Uh, I want to take this walking around the house once and then put it in a holder. But yeah, look, the problem is no one in my community, in the black community, not enough people follow politics like they used to. They more follow celebrities, and I think that was by design, right? So now your civil rights leaders are all pop stars and bullshit artists who want to tell you who to vote for, but also want you to buy their lipstick or their weird shoes, or so they're salesmen. They're not, and nothing changes with them because they're not serious. And on top of that, I'm not saying that they're immoral. They have a different lifestyle. So living up in the Hollywood Hills, laying by your poolside all day, having somebody bring you a bag of this or a dollar of that, or the women of your choice, right? There's a lot of sex being sold in that town. And it's by people who were once like you and me, lived in your neighborhood, right? They all sort of get famous and they gravitate there. And then they tell you how you can do it too because America's about, and it's not. And the people who are there are all there because of the same apparatus. No one built any new apparatus, right? All the black music that is no longer owned by black people. Why? Because shifty word games and contracts and lawyers and one group of people, one group of people, quite frankly. So, like I said before, why can't I ask questions about these people who I know fucked me over? Explain yourselves. Oh no, 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 no. We don't need to. We need all need to be on the same page. We're always on your what's the word? We're always on your itinerary of what's important. So I think that they're gonna come going, oh, this is important. We need you black people to come up and vote for Joe Biden and the black first black. And you know what I said? Excuse me. You know why I stand on Kamala Harris, first black vice president, my ass, right? She's not black. She's Indian. I don't buy into the one drop rule. I am black. My family's black. My nieces and nephews are black. They grew up in a black environment with black people. They know the troubles and tribulations of black life in America. They are black. Just because you went to a black college with your black girlfriend do not make you black, right? And I'll tell you another thing. Asian people go to all black colleges, and a couple of white people. Are they black? I don't think they are. Yeah, I can see. I think that they've weaponized feminism to make you like to keep. How? What did he tell you? How that's not. Look, listen. Nobody. I've had conversations. I've had this ex girlfriend. We will always be at odds over dumb shit. I once asked her to make me a sandwich. Mind you, I did most of the cooking, right? So I'm at the video game and I'm saying, "Oh, could you just make like peanut butter jelly sandwich, something quick, like nothing crazy?" You'd have thought I asked her to make it barefoot and not say anything, and then like it's the '50s. I'm just kind of like, at this point, you're not even smart about who you attack. We live together. Now I'm a sexist. You're gonna have this, man. I was just kind of like, you're ridiculous. I mean, I liked her so much too, but it was just kind of like super feminist, and I'm like, look, pick your battles. You know what I'm saying? It's still a man woman world. Some stuff are better suited that men do. Some stuff better suited that women do. That's true. All the stuff that we can all do together, I'm all for that. But this is not either one of those. This is me who loves you and who lives together, just asking you to do something for him, and you make it into like now you got to call Gloria Allred because like sexism. It's just kind of like what I did all the laundry, right? Kept the house clean because I hate to say it, she couldn't, right? My mother grew up teaching us we had chores we had to do. And then by the time I was old enough to move out, my mother made sure I knew how to do my laundry and cook at least 10 or 15 things. And then she sent me out in the world with high hopes and love, right? That's the way my mother did it. Then when I went off, got met all these college kids, a lot of those kids couldn't do laundry. No one could cook. One friend would pack his shit and take it home to his mother. I was like, dude, that is a nice racket you got there. But at the end of the day, they were not formidable people. And they needed unfairness in America to protect them and give them everything. And now you know why, for every dollar an American black family has, a white family has, what did they say, $100,000? And that's not all white families, don't get it wrong. But yeah, it is a thing. But we're going to fix it. We're just not going to fix it anytime soon. But you need us in power to keep voting so they don't come and fix it and make it worse. So we're not going to do anything. But if they get here, they'll make it worse. Okay? I think this thing is finally lit. That's your thing that, no, keep us in power and nothing will happen. But if you put them in power, all bad things will happen. At this point, oh, that's not good. Okay. At this point, I need anybody, to do something, anything, to move the bar. Because I think at this point, I think they have it exactly the way they want it. This perpetual back and forth of nothing happening, but they stay there and take, quite frankly, take money from corporations. And if corporations are people, you should be able to walk into the boardroom of the bad corporations and arrest everybody because they're people, and shut that down, and not isolate, and sell off their assets because they're people, and people do this, right? Aren't they doing that with Nasser? They put him in jail for 30 years. They took all his stuff. They're suing him personally. I think they're doing this with R. Kelly too. The idea that you start a company that can be around and just be a thorn in the side of the American citizen is bullshit. But then they'll come into, if this was a political platform and I was running for dog catcher of the year or whatever I'm running for, they would tell you I'm a communist and I'm against the American way. And what they're essentially saying is, we like this racket. This racket is going to make us super rich. We can, excuse me, I've got a lot of hiccups going on. Yeah, we got to make sure that we step on the flames. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. All right, let's do that. All right, so we're gonna take no loops. Just gonna place it. Okay. Whew. I got a lot of art books over here that I should relocate. All right. So what is the point of this conversation? This conversation is so you know what you're up against. I know what I'm up against. Um, I'm up against the world. I think I said this before. But let's talk about black people for a second. We as black people have been under it for about since about the 1400s. Uh, Here in America, we could fix this shit in 30 years. 30 years. No one even making attempts to fix anything. The whole situation, civil rights movement now is about crying that nobody will let you sit next to them. Right. And that's really what it is, versus what it used to be, which is leave us alone, we'll do it ourselves. I'm for the leave us alone, we'll do it ourselves. Um, but no, I mean, it makes sense, right? I control you and your people and what you think. So yeah, but that's the that's the way we want it. Go running. See, I should go running. Versus what the way you want it, and the way you want it is, you know, you starting your own businesses and banks and sending your own people to college and starting your own colleges, all the stuff that we had at one point and don't have anymore. It's all been washed away by the helpers, our allies. I know exactly what you should do. No, 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 I'll fix it. And then nothing gets done. And the thing that you had gets dismantled and taken over. And now you have to bank with Citibank and Chase and all these giant things versus back in the day when there were the majority of black people both voted for Black Bank. We've been completely and fully attacked here. And then we're allowed to have Europeans come here and attack us as well. And then the whole thing about uh, in the 50s, they let all these other people, because immigration was only essentially from Europe, come here. And then those people start attacking us. So, yeah, this is why I'm not for this open border bullshit. You should really make sure you know who's in the country. I've said that before. So we'll see. I mean, you've made the society stupid so you can control them. People do really still believe some of this ancient nonsense. Ugh, that coffee is not awesome. ancient nonsense about superiority. Okay. Major oil spill hits Orange County. 126,000 gallons leaks from a pipeline. What price will they pay for that? What price will they pay? You know what? They won't pay out not one. Not one. And that's the shame of it. You know, we can stop this. I mean, you know, cancer is a thing, and you can get it by being around these chemicals. These people don't, on these oil platforms or whatever, they're not touching the oil and, like, you know, they wear suits and they wear breathing. Now it's out floating freely in the ocean, right? On the beaches where you bring your kids. I'm sure the government will tell them, shame on you, you $1 billion company, you're going to have to pay a $2 million fine. And look at me, people, I did this for you. I held them accountable. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. And that's what I mean. Like, you should walk into that boardroom and someone had better have a fucking good explanation for what happened with this oil spill. And not only, and they don't, I give him money for his politics. What? You need to walk in there, sit in that, whoever heads it is, sit in his chair, put your feet up on his desk. And let's hear it. How do you explain this? Let's look at your safety record. One, you did this. Let's look at the last time anything happened. Look at how you cleaned it up the last time. And why is there a second time or a third time, God forbid? Some of these people are in their 30th leak because we're lobbyists, and lobbyists is legal bribery, quite frankly. You're legally allowed to bribe a politician. Lobbying. Meanwhile, all the things you should fix, they don't have lobby, right? And all these black politicians just look like they're going there and whining and complaining and going, "Oh, don't be mean to me. Just give us this." And this is your lobby versus I'm demanding this, or you're going to pay a fucking price for it at the end of the so and so, you know, the primary season or the I don't know what the general election, right? But you have to be able to say it and prove it. And we in the black community have zero power in this country. We had it, and then they introduce all these people. Oh, wow, well, you guys are it. Why don't you come hang out with us? And before you know it, they're bought off. They're completely, totally brought off. And it looks like so they could stand on the White House lawn. I had a president, and this is where I've noticed it go down. Once you, as a black leader, once you have a presidential visit at the White House, I give up on you. I'm one of those people who think no one should be going there unless you actually fix some shit. What are you fixing? Nothing. Then why am I going there? Oh, it's a storied building. It's, yeah, no. I'm not one of these things. The quirky shit that I like is like this T-shirt, right? I'd love to get one of these T-shirts with the Capitol on it, you know, White House on it, you know. But as for going there to sell out people who really, and I say you can fix this in 30 years. I've been so. I was born in this movement. You can fix this in 30 years. You really could. Why don't all these civil rights leaders come up with a plan to help you fix it? No one starts school, no one starts communities, no one starts banks, no one does anything but tell you that you need to show up and vote for this old lawyer because he'll fix it. Even though he's been around for 50 years and he didn't fix shit. And he took the opposing view of you. Black guy didn't fix it either, but the black guy wasn't a black guy, was he? No, he wasn't. His father was African. He was raised by a white lady in Australia, in Indonesia, and in Hawaii. How is that black anywhere? You know, the first black guy is going to be from like Brooklyn or Compton or Florida. And, you know, he may talk like me. He may tell you you're full of crap. I don't believe that, right? But all these cookie cutter pod people that they keep finding and holding up as black people, it's all very porch. That's a slander in my community. Don't be porch. It's all very like No one trusts you, and you only show up in black churches when the cops kill somebody or you want somebody's vote. I think the days are over. Uh, and I said before, just because I'm not voting Democrat doesn't mean just because I'm not voting Republican doesn't mean I'm voting Democrat. So you're gonna have a hard time getting people to the polls in the coming year. I'm telling you all the things you need to fix, and you won't fix them. One, you don't know how. Two, you don't have the fucking balls to even attempt it. And three, any brown faced person that you bring out to talk on this thing is just gonna get shouted down because their bona fides is bullshit. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure the ladies have a different issue who are working for fairness with gender, right? I'm sure. Who else? Any other groups who have, but other groups don't have any problems here. They're perpetually crying about being the victim when they own all the shit. They're always happy to point their finger at you uh, and say how you're the bad guy. I mean, they run the courts. The courts are a shit show. The courts are really a shit show. I don't know how you can fix it because you've got too many bad people in government that you're going to have to get rid of. You just can't come and fix it and keep the same people there. There has to be uh, a purge, quite frankly. You have to get them out of government. They know people who know, and then you look at who did what and when they did it, and that's how you get rid of them. Throw people in jail. Law is still the law, right? We'll see what happens, baby. All right, so it is 9:10 on Sunday. We are here every Sunday talking this talk, right? This raw common sense talk about uh, how the world runs, as I see it. We're here every night, Monday through Saturday, 6:30. I think Saturday might be either my gaming night or my guitar night. Do we remember the chords? Just see if we remember. All right, this is my F. This is my F minor, right? This is my F major. That's not my F major. I know this is my B minor, which is movable. Yeah, gonna be doing that all day to bloody fingers. All right. Um we normally go to 10:30. Are we gonna do that? Oh, give me a second. I gotta tell you, man, runny noses. It's like you blow them, they keep running. Why does your nose run? What is your nose trying to tell you? Why is your nose running? You don't have a cold. You don't. Maybe it's the sage that I just lit, but I don't have any of these issues with sage and incense and all this stuff. All right. Bum, 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 bum. What else we got? Giant sequoia. Man, it's sad that these sequoias might go away. And all these that was just telling you how England is a internet, not internet hub, a software giant. Really, England is a software giant. A lot of these people just tell you stuff. They give you one story and then they run with like it exists every place. So I'm sure England has a nice internet, not internet, software group and people. But really, isn't it California, right? Isn't the problems Russia with their hacking shit and all this stuff? And a lot of these news stories are not news stories. Here's one. Apple quietly includes a remarkable feature in the iPhone 13 Pro. It makes all the difference. That's really a commercial. It's really a commercial telling you to buy the iPhone 13, right? Screened in porch. That's telling you to buy something. This is the best fruit you can eat. I'm sure you now need to run out and buy that fruit. Pimping you from Stanley Tucci talking about his cancer and his movie. So that's both, oh, Stanley Tucci, as well as, oh, go see this movie. So they're always selling you something. It's very, oh boy. Speaking of emotional content, then there's stuff like this. Can you see that? Video of baby snuggling up to puppy, fast feet that everyone's saying, oh, because that's news for you. Oh, you know, it's just people really need a fix. And in order to not give you a fix, they distract you with these jingling keys over here while they have their hands in your pocket over here. The traditional traces back to 700. These women are fighting to keep it alive. Yeah. And so if shit dies, man, I mean, your basket weaving on the side of the road, talking about keeping an art alive. I mean, I get boutique baskets if that's the case, where you have a room and somebody pays you 3 times the price to weave it by hand. But the idea that all these women and all these men are now going to start weaving baskets like it's the year 7 is sort of ridiculous. Now, this is news. A Canadian, the alleged voice behind ISIS videos, could face life in prison. Yeah, he should face life in prison. You had a part in countless murders. You really did. You may not have had a knife in your hand, but you were totally look. If I said, um, I have my homies told me that they're going to go down to the beach and kill somebody who's not wearing our favorite color of yellow, right? Then they're going to get it. And then that happens. And then next week I go, hey, this week's favorite color is black, and you have better do. And then someone dies. And then when they pick me up, that tells me you had knowledge of what was a murder happening before it happened. And it told me after the second week, you went in, you did it again. You didn't go, oh my God, I didn't know they were actually serious. They did that thing last week. I'm shocked. You said, oh, no, this week it's this color and we're going to do it again. Right. So, yeah, he should face like 1,000,000,000,000 years in the fucking joint. He's an idiot. I mean, it's bad. It's bad enough there are bad guys in the world, and I get that, right? But to run around killing random people and say it's in the, like they just had that explosion at a mosque and say it's in the name of God. No one should even fucking harbor your memory anymore. Ugh. And more internet content. Simone Biles, why I walked away. Are you a gymnast or what are you? Now her whole thing is being a sad broke girl, but don't worry, we got plenty of hugs for you, Simone. I just look, if you're the world's greatest gymnast, go out that way. I'm the world's greatest gymnast, and you have to feel sorry for me. More Netflix stuff to see. Yeah, it's all. Most of the stuff that comes through my news feed is a commercial. A very fancy, but it's still a commercial. Female lawmakers say the absence at bill signing hints at bigger challenges. Really? This is America, mind you. So, what did the men stop you from going to this bill signing? You see what I'm saying? It's just you. This is how you get a stroke and a heart attack because every time you wake up, someone is telling you that you're the victim of someone, and they can either help you or wow, there's something wrong with you, but don't worry about it. I have pills for that. You know, or wow, you're feeling unhappy and unhealthy. You know what? If you bought something like this new car, took this trip, da 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 da, took these pills, you'll be a happier American. People aren't, the people will get better when they stop taking all that shit. Now, don't get it wrong. If you need to take diabetes medication, please, by all means, fucking keep taking it, right? But if you're sad and you don't, and they're like, well, take the Zoloft or this or this, that. All I'm saying is that maybe you should try walking. And I'm not talking working out and getting like, I'm buffing up, but just walk in the sun, right? Music on that isn't hateful and angry. Or in that, and when I say hateful and angry, maybe hateful is the wrong word, but music that isn't angry, right? And there's a lot of it that's angry. There's like rock music, that screaming rock, but you can't understand what anybody's saying. You're like, what the fuck is this? Uh, there's a, uh, I guess it's still gangster rap, which is all about guns and violence and aggressive bullshit. But nobody's saying, oh, well, maybe I'll stay away from that in my gym walk and I'll listen to, Tiny Tim tiptoe through the tulips or anything. Nobody's saying that. But there's a lot of good music out there that you can just kind of listen to as you take a walk. And it's not going to happen in a day or in a weekend. It'll likely be about, in my estimation, about 6 months. My whole life revolves around 6 month, kind of like when I go on a change cycle. Uh, like I started this streaming every day. I started the guitar on June 1st, right? Because I do everything on either the first of the month, the first of the week, or the first of the year, right? Whenever I go, oh man, I got to get in shape. Maybe I'll start running. The first thing I do is look at the clock. Okay, it's the third. All right. Well, I got 3 weeks to begin working out for. But if I go, man, I got to start running, and it's like October 28th. I go, I'm not gonna be able to do it in 2 weeks. I get, and so it'll be December 1st. That's me. That's a weird, quirky, goofy thing to me and my artistic nature, right? Your nature might be different. Maybe you have a numbers thing too, but it's a lucky number, right? My lucky number is 21, by the way. I actually have several of them. 1, 3, 7, 21, and 13, but not really 13. But yeah, um, that's another thing. What do you like versus people running through telling you what is good for you? You know, I mean, I don't know how old you are, but in my young man days, my really young man days, crack was a thing. And I saw enough people get addicted to it and just saw the goofiness. I was just kind of like, I think I'm good with like anything made in a lab. What else you got? Right. So if it grows out the ground, marijuana, you can dry it out and smoke it. I'm for that. If it grows out the ground, mushrooms, you can dry it out and cook it. I'm for that. That's it. Those are the only two things I'm for. Everything else, but here's the odd thing about it. Everything else I don't believe should be illegal. If you can't deal with it, right, in a land of freedom and your opportunity, if you're a washout in that system, why is it up to anybody to save you? My thing should be you shouldn't be set upon by your government. You should have the same chance as everybody else, right? But then other people have way more chances and still become drugged out burnouts. It goes to their upbringing and their nature versus somebody who's in that same environment is like, I'm not going near these drugs. I'm really trying to get this college education, right? What do you want versus what other people think is good for you? I need to wash that car. I left the sunroof open. All right. Did it rain yesterday? No. Okay. I left my sunroof open. I gotta go and close it. I hope there's no birds sitting in it. I know there's gonna be a bunch of pine cones and crap in it. Um, voice behind the violence. Voice behind the violence. English speaking narrator of ISIS propaganda videos arrested and charged by the Justice Department. At least they found them. But here's the thing: nobody needs your face anymore. Your voice is just as unique as your fingerprint. And if you're on tape in a mask going, kill all the midgets and punch all the old ladies and kick all the puppies, I don't need to see your face, right? I really don't, because people are gonna go, "What did he say? Kill all the women, put the how he says K's on the kill, and kick all the puppies. See the same K is the same, and he used P for puppies, and then in a few months they're gonna be like they're gonna find me on the internet going, I like flowers and candy, and we're all best friends, and they'll go, hey, his K sounds exactly like this K sounds, and his S in flower sounds exactly like this. Then they're just gonna come and put them to like one of those spectrograms and be like match. And then the next day they're not even gonna knock on my door. They like to knock on your door and don't give you time to answer it. So there go. Justice Department warrant, and then the door will come off the hinges. By that knock, you're like, what? Let me get up and see who's at my. And by the time you stand fully up, they're in your apartment with a gun in your face, telling you that you're Hitler or whatever the fucking case may be. And I'm not for those. Look, listen. If you're going after a violent guy, take him down at 2 a.m. I totally get it. But felony stops aren't for everybody. And it's true, if you're committing crimes, you never know, somebody might get super desperate and like what is it, a forger who's not known to be violent, out of 100 of those you might get one violent forger, right? But they're implying 100 out of 100 people are these types of people, and that's the problem. And it's football Sunday, baby. So I think I'm Stelter. This is the real reason Trump wants back on Twitter. First of all, Brian Stelter is someone who gets it wrong a lot, and he gets it wrong for CNN. How do he know why Trump wants back on CNN? Huh? Or you know that he wants back on. You better watch these people who give their own logic for what you do. And you've seen in society, right? Men with women, right? That's one of the easy ones. She only wants money. You don't know what she wants. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she wants revenge against men. Maybe it's not the money, right? Or maybe it is the money, but she also loves them, right? So, I mean, and I've been guilty of this too before I became an enlightened soul. I try and watch that shit. I really do try and watch that shit. Because it's sexist and it's racist, and it can be sexist and racist and homophobic and anti-Semitic, and it can be all these ifs that you're putting in, right? But when I criticize people, it is Israel, American Jews, right? Two different groups, or so I'm told. But I criticize them for things they're doing on the ground that week. I don't go back into history unless the conversation is really dark, and then I'll let you know all about everybody's history. Oregon man charged in fatal shooting of a man who spoke to his girlfriend. What? That's some shit we have to look up. Here's the thing, guys. Once you do some shit like that, she ceases to be your girlfriend because you're going to prison. Then she gets to be somebody else's girlfriend. The Barry Washington Oregon man charging. People are so fucking stupid. Stupid on levels that don't make sense. Barry Washington Jr. Look at this picture. Just a picture of Barry Washington Jr. seen at the site of the vigil. Let's flip these. At the site of the vigil held in his memory on September 20th, 2021. That was 2 weeks ago, 13 days ago. An Oregon man has been arrested and indicted on charges stemming from a fatal shooting of a man that prosecutors say occurred after the man spoke to the suspect's girlfriend. What did he say to her? Hey, baby, nice tits? That's wrong, but you shouldn't get shot. Did he go, you stupid woman, I'll kill you, which is aggressive, and you can say I was afraid to protect my girlfriend, okay? Or did he go, excuse me, miss, you have the time? Remember, that fireman, right? The young boy, I think he's 13, he knocks on the door because he's lost. And the woman starts screaming, and the husband runs to the door with a shotgun and shoots at the guy, and the guy runs away. Husband goes to jail for 10 years. That whole thing kicked off for a couple of reasons as I see it, right? One, they had racism in that house. They were comfortable with it. When no one's around, they're talking about the dinner table. That's my assumption. Just like you shouldn't put words why you think people are doing things. I'm doing exactly that here, right? But I think that's then what led up, because if it wasn't the both of them, if it was just one of them, I think the husband would have been like, "Why are you screaming? Well, it's a kid at the door. Calm down, right?" Or if the husband was like, "What? Somebody's at my door. Let me get my shotgun." The wife would say, "It's a child. He's got a book pack on. Just calm down. Listen what he wants." But they both fed into each other's wild paranoia in an environment that was already a racial tinderbox, right? So the whole "there's a black guy at my door" lit off that racial tinderbox, and it the racism blew up, and now he's in jail. Retired fireman, 10 years in the clink. In some of these places, if you break the law, you lose your pension. He's right. He's retired. So if he comes out of jail and he lives in one of these places, New York is one of these places. If he lives in one of these places, uh, they can pull his pension. Then he's got to go back to work at 70 to work on a new pension. I always thought that was bullshit. After I'm out, I can do whatever the fuck I want with my time. You know, I mean, it's the new enslavement. Lawyers do it. Lawyers did it before, but lawyers do it. Um, let's get to the story. An Oregon man has been arrested and indicted on charges stemming from the fatal shooting of a man that prosecutors say occurred at the victim spoke to the suspect's girlfriend. A grand jury this week indicted Mackenzie Cranston, 27-year-old white man, on 6 charges in connection to the shooting of last month. 26-year-old Barry Washington Jr., a black man, Deschutes County District Attorney John Hummel, excuse me, announced it in a news conference Thursday following Cranston's arrest. Excuse me. Those those charges include second-degree murder, first-degree manslaughter, second-degree manslaughter, first-degree assault, and 2 counts of unlawful use of a weapon. Okay, let's run through these charges. I'm not a lawyer, mind you. Always wanted to be one, but it's not too late. I could go back and get a law degree. I don't want to practice. I just want to be able to read this funny wording in the magic books that control all our lives. Those charges include second degree murder. Okay, second degree murder implies that you didn't wake up in the morning to plot someone. That's first degree murder. I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna kill that guy, right? That's me plotting. That's first degree. Second degree murder is more like I wake up, I go about my day, and I run in to this guy and we get into it and then I kill him, right? So it's like, well, you should have killed him, but it's not like very slight gradient. First degree manslaughter, I think, is manslaughter is when you didn't mean to kill somebody, but you killed somebody. But I think first degree manslaughter means you didn't mean to kill somebody, but you killed somebody and you did it with a weapon, right? That makes it first degree. Uh, Second degree manslaughter, maybe it's the second degree manslaughter, but okay. And mind you, this is Oregon. So I don't know. I mean, everybody's statutes is different. I'm just trying to put it through my head from what I remember. And I remember it's messy. Second degree manslaughter, first degree assault, and 2 counts of unlawful use of a weapon. 2 counts. Cranston, let's go over here. I really got to change this camera angle. Cranston allegedly, weapon. Cranston appeared in court Friday and is being held in the Deschutes County Jail without bond. He has not entered a plea. Hold up. How come no one ever shows us these fucking people's pictures? Oh my God. Why? All right, hold on. I want to see what he looks like. There you go. He's got a black eye. Oh, he's got a previous picture, arrest photo. People are so fucking stupid. They're so fucking stupid. It is my experience. Look at this guy. Look at that eye. It is my experience that a lot of these gun-toting nitwits, the only time they'll fight you, man-to-man fight, is if they've got you by like 5 inches and 10 pounds, right? Uh, or if it's 5 of them and 1 of you, right? Or if they've got a gun on them. And this isn't just for like these knucklehead racist pintards either. That is quite the shiny you got there, homie. Okay. Wow, he's got nothing but a bunch of mug shots. Don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Here he is again. This him. It don't make any sense. All right. It don't make any sense. All right, let's close that. A grand jury this week. We read this. Uh shooting last month, a 20-year-old. First of all, why did it take a month to arrest him? A black man, Dutchess County District Attorney John Hummel announced in a news conference Thursday following Cranston's arrest. Those charges include second-degree murder. Went through this, 2 counts of unlawful use of a weapon. Cranston appeared in court on Friday and is being held in the Deschutes County Jail without bond. He has not entered a plea. Cranston allegedly shot Washington to death in downtown Bend early September 19. Early, so this tells me it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. Well, early could be like 1 or 2 in the morning. According to September 22nd news released by the Deschutes County District Attorney, Cranston was initially arrested on a single charge of second-degree manslaughter and has been released on bail before the grand jury returned tonight. He was arrested and released on bail on a second-degree murder charge? A single charge. Single charge should have kept him in jail, but all right. In a statement issued on CNN Saturday, Kevin Sally, an attorney for Cranston, this is where it gets good. Indisputable video evidence shows that before Ian Cranston ever drew his weapon, Barry Washington had assaulted him without provocation. So he just walked up to him and punched him in the face. Man, you got to watch these lawyers. Lawyers get a lot of murderers and rapists off on racist shit. Okay, so before we sit here and act like all these people are bastions of the court, people are people, and some are evil with law degrees. The video, with the video, and that's what gets me. I mean, it implies you have these black savages walking around doing wild shit. So he just walked up to this guy and just punched him in the face or beat him up for no. And the guy was like, "Look, I have this gun on me." Somebody walks up to me and punches me in the face. We're in a fight. And I know this because I've been there before with a gun on me. So yeah, the idea that I get a freebie, you punch me and I get a freebie and I can pull a round in your chest is bullshit. All right, let's go. In a statement, Kevin Sally, an attorney for Cranston, said indisputable video evidence shows that before Ian Cranston ever drew his weapon, Barry Washington had assaulted him without provocation, resulting in head injuries that required the police to take Mr. Cranston to the hospital where a brain scan and other procedures happened. Just because you had a brain scan doesn't mean shit. And if he had a brain injury, how can he remember he had a gun on him? And okay, all right. I think that this is one of those lawyers that I have a low opinion of already. Show us the videotape. In a country full of racial incidents, nobody needs to take the lawyer's word for it anymore. Show us the video. All right. According to CNN affiliate KTVZ, Hummel previously said that prior to the shooting, Washington had complimented Cranston's girlfriend, but that there was no allegation that anything Mr. Washington did was inappropriate. So he said something, he complimented her, "Oh, nice outfit, nice dress, or you're a banging body," or whatever. Then he went about his business. He complimented her in a respectful manner, Hummel said per KTV. She was fine. She was fine. She was fine back. He complimented her in a respectful manner, Hummel said per KTVZ. Quote, "She was fine back. She said, 'No, thank you. I'm flattered, but I'm in a relationship.'" She was fine back? I don't know what that means. She was fine back, she said. She was fine back. Did he go, "Oh, you fine?" And she said, "Oh, you fine too, but I'm in a relationship." Maybe that's what maybe he meant she said fine back. Okay, anyway. Uh, she was fine back. She said, "No, thank you. I'm flattered, but I'm in a relationship." However, Cranston was not happy, Hummel said. He said some words to Mr. Washington. Oh, so okay. So it's not like he just walked over uh and said, "Ooh, woman, you fine," and then punched this guy in the face, which is what the lawyer is trying to make it sound like, right? It sounded like he said something about a girl he thought was single, and she said, No, I'm in a relationship." And then the boyfriend walked over and was like, "What you say to my girlfriend?" And then he was like, "Man, slide a walk before I wreck you," because this is the culture, right? And there you go. But he's a big man because he had a gun on him. That's why. However, Cranston was not happy, Hummel said. He said some words to Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington said some words back. There you go. There's your exchange. Uh, what are you talking about? There was no exchange. He just punched him in the face with a little exchange. What did he say? Where's this bullshit lawyer? In a statement issued to CNN Saturday is a statement. He didn't say it in public. He released it on paper. An attorney for Cranston said indisputable video evidence shows indisputable that before Ian Cranston ever drew his weapon, Barry Washington had assaulted him without provocation, resulting in a head injury. We saw the look. So he had a black eye. And look, people always want to go to court, not court, always want to go to like the hospital when they're before they go to jail, right? So I've had to take a lot of people to hospitals who didn't need to go. It sort of like buys them time before you throw them in a cell. I fucking hate to say it. Black eyes, skin. It's a fight. People have skin. People have a bloody nose. You can fix it with gauze, but no, they got to go to jail because there's a head injury or some other craziness. All right, let's see what we got. There was some. Cranston was not happy. Hummel said he said some words to Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington said some words back. Hummel said there was some pushing, some jostling. Oh, so there was some social interaction before punches were thrown. Some pushing, some jostling, some punches thrown. But then it calmed down. It was not going to get out of hand. Then Mr. Cranston pulled out then it calmed down. It was not going to get out of hand. So look, men fight. I totally get this. I don't think that you should be able to ruin a guy's life because they had a fist fight. Right? Take your lumps and leave. Men fight. But some people can't take it. They got to come back and shoot up the joint, right? All this kind of stupid nonsense. And it sounds like he was riding high on his, I'm a very important person and you should respect that. And, there was some pushing and some jostling, some punches thrown, but then it calmed down. It was not going to get out of hand. It was not until Mr. Cranston. Then Mr. Cranston pulled out a gun out of his waistband and shot and killed Mr. Washington after the fight. While Cranston is white and Washington is black, Hummel did not seek a hate crime charge. He said, telling reporters that he felt prosecutors had insufficient evidence to make the case at this time. However, the case remains under investigation. I don't think this is a hate crime. I'm at my first reading of this, unless you look at, and they're going to do this, unless you look into his social media and he's like, everyone fucking, a lot of these pentards hate Black Lives Matter at this point, right? So you can be like, Black Lives Matter, and it's all the same truth. Black Lives Matter, Antifa this, yada, 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 yada. Right? Okay, you can hate those groups. That doesn't make you a racist. But once you start putting up the watermelon memes and the fucking fried chicken shit, and because some of this talk is loose, right? Then you can go, well, he had a burr up his butt about black folks, and then a black folks speaking to his girl. It's very Emmett Till. Remember that Emmett Till supposedly said something to this woman, who then had this 14-year-old murdered by her husband and her brother. No, her husband and her brother-in-law. The other guy was married to her sister, and she got to live a long life. Still alive, baby. While Cranston's white and Washington is black, Hummel did not seek a hate crimes charge. He said, telling reporters he felt prosecutors had insufficient evidence to make the case at the time. However, the case remains under investigation. If we obtain sufficient evidence to prove that this shooting was at least partially motivated by race, we will go back to that grand jury and ask them to add the charge, he said. It is believed that the initial interaction between Mr. Barry and Mr. Cranston began when Barry complimented Mr. Cranston's girlfriend. Hummel said, our county has a disgraceful history of denigrating, prosecuting, and lynching black men for talking to white women. over the last week, literally hundreds of people called and emailed me to remind me of this history. So at least the community is like, hey, yo, we got this history. You should be very careful how you prosecute this. And we're watching you, which makes sense. Cranston's attorney took issue with Hummel's comment at the news conference. Of course he did, saying in his statement, after the evidence came out at trial, after the evidence comes out at trial. Oh, he's talking about after things will happen in the future. All right. After the evidence comes out at trial, I trust someone will ask the district attorney why he deliberately inflamed the community with the statement he knew were not supported by any evidence. See, this is bullshit because you don't know what the evidence is until they give it to you because they're in charge of gathering it and you're in charge of reading it. Man, the fucking defense prosecutors, man. After the announcement of the charges, Washington's mother, LaWanda Robertson, is this wrong? With Robertson without a T, posted on Facebook that this is really overwhelming and that she hadn't even begun to grieve. The legal case is a lot, all while trying to lay my son to rest, she said. Wow. That is a fucking story. That is just nonsense. I don't know if it's racial, but that is just nonsensical bullshittery idiotry. Fugitive found in Oregon arrested in the death of a Houston woman, August 30th. This was last month. Man charged in Houston woman's murder. See, come on, man. Look, you do this shit and all your life becomes running from the cops or sitting around waiting for the authorities to release you from prison. If you get a release date, some people just die there. Like it's a warehouse for some of this shit. Ladies, I said this before, a 15-year-old arrested in the shooting death of his 11-year-old sister. Oh my God. Man dies overnight shooting in Baltimore. Yeah, guns are everywhere in America. It could be what gets you. It could be what gets me. More so than the fucking flu. Sad. Guns everywhere. Here's the thing. You have a gun in your house and one of your kid kills the other kid with that gun. I used to be like, oh my God, their family has so much tragedy. I would like, not throw them in jail. And now I'm just kind of like, you know what? This has been going on long. You should know how to secure a fucking weapon if you have a gun in the house. I got no sympathy for you. I really don't. And I feel super bad for the child. This 15-year-old killed his sister. That's going to be with him until the day God calls him home, right? I mean, you're not just going to be like, oh man, when I was a kid, I killed my sister, but that's all right. Hey, more beers for everybody, right? We all have like stigma from childhood. You didn't get that bicycle you wanted, or people were mean to you in school, right? As you grow up, you go, oh yeah, I remember this happening. Oh well, it's not a pleasant, but you get by it. You date, you marry, you have kids, you start businesses, you do all this stuff. Very few things stymie your growth, right? And one of these things I would think is like the unintentional, I say unintentional, the unintentional consequences of an action like this, an unintentional action, right? Barry Washington Jr. charging. It's outrageous. Woo, that is a story. A lot of missing people. And there's something to be said for women knowing fucking something about the people that they're around. Why you? Ugh. Killing women. Why? 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 I said it before and I'll say it again. Half the world is women. Go find another one. Same thing for you ladies. Half the world is men. Go find another one. In your immediate area right now, how many of the opposite sex do you think are within a 10-mile radius of you that you could get along with, right? Let's say it was 30,000, in my case, 30,000 ladies, right? And I don't like tall women. I don't like short women. I don't like fat women. I don't like thin women. I don't like this women. I don't like that women. I don't like the other women. I'm pretty sure you could still get 5,000 people to date in that out of the 50,000 in your, you know what I'm saying? Find somebody. Or maybe the problem is you. Maybe they all just are like, I got no problem meeting women, but then they never want to stick around. That says it's you. right? If you can get them to go on a first date with you, but you can't get anything else, that says your conversation or something about you is bullshit. Or something about them is bullshit. Maybe you keep attracting the wrong type of person who would like that sort of thing. If you keep going to on dates and talking about your butterfly collection and how you like to watch the stars and stuff, and all the girls just want to go watch football and be out, then maybe you should be hanging out with some girls who's like, oh, I'm ornithologist and I like birds and I collect wing feathers. Oh, well, then you could share a little something, and then you're more in sort of in line with each other. But I think a lot of these people are emotionally stunted. Uh, One thing that's good about like a wide family, a big family, is we all have different types. We're born with different types, right? Um, and when mind you, I was a sensitive, artsy fucking kid. Sometimes my mom was like, "It's all right, it'll get better. Don't worry about it." And sometimes she was like, "Stop crying and go outside and play." Right? Sometimes my dad was like, "Stop crying and go outside and play." Or sometimes he was just kind of like, "Man, I just don't understand you." Right? So this made me a little more introspective. My brother, right? He's a different personality than me. Uh, and it's good. You talk to these people growing up, right? My brother gave me good advice when we were like 19 and 21. I was like, oh, I guess so. You have somebody that you shared a crib with, right? You have family in common, brothers and sisters and moms and dads and people you love. You love all the same people, aunts and uncles. So when he comes to you, even with bad, stupid view on something, it's never loud and angry and aggressive and out of control, because it sort of stems out of this place of we both learn how to talk to people in the same house through the same parents, right? So we're not exactly the same, but we have a social etiquette born out of the household of Katie and James, right? And that makes sense. And it's we all sort of do it, with the exception of, I think that my sisters are slightly different. My sisters have a more, can I say this? Have a more arrogant way of that family conversation. And I think it's because I thought about this through the years. I think it's because the girls were kind of got spoiled. They didn't kind of get called on the carpet as much as the boys did. They got to sort of get away with murder. So they still talk that way, but they'll be shorter and roll their eyes and tell you in no uncertain terms how you're just a goofy, nobody, well, no one curses in my family but me, right? How you're just a goofy hot mess who needs to get your act together. Um, but my brothers will say the same thing. They might take a different track on it, but they won't be as insulting. But I think that's what a lot of people miss. I think they grow up in single parent households by themselves, and some of the emotional stuff that they should have fixed or corrected, you're sort of right, but because if someone told you, um, you like some girl in your formative years, right? And the girl doesn't, well, she dates you for a week and then she goes to like some boy, because that happens in like the seventh grade. Some kids know music, they'll write a song about it. Uh, some people will just make it a it's not them, it's a me thing, right? So they'll be like, the hell with these women, man. They all just want stuff and they greedy. If no one goes, hey man, that's fucked up. That's really not what's going on here. But if no one goes no, and you just go, you will grow up with that, and then that will become a bedrock foundation of your fucking mental sphere, right? And you won't even remember where you got it. You'll just know, man, these women are fucking bullshit. Why do you feel that way? Oh no, I just right. If someone would have came along with like, what? No, don't you look, you got sisters here. Don't you love your mom? Don't you love your sister? No, 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 no. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe she was just, yeah, and then maybe you walk away going, some people suck, and she's one of them. And that's a better way to look at it than how some of these people fucking look at this thing. It's not that hard. I mean, getting your heart broken always hurts, and it never seems to get easier. Uh, but it's different, and it always hurts because you're always a new iteration of you. And people who don't you know, are emotionally dead, who run through all these people just really for the sex and the bullshit talk. They don't really put any emotion into any of this stuff anyway. So they may get married, they may have kids, but they're not really emotionally connected. And some people are overly emotionally connected, stalkers, and you won't leave me, and da da da. And some people are not, just kind of like, well, we got divorced, I just move on to another. Oh, we had some, we got divorced. Like none of these relationships mean shit to one person, and these nothing relationships mean almost everything to this other person. And I think it's because your parents did not teach you, not you, but their parents did not teach them how to be both emotionally resilient, to have your heart broken and come back, and then not hold grudges against the next person you date. Don't tell your new girlfriend about the problem with your old girlfriend, kind of stuff. Uh, Emotionally resilient, and they're also not emotionally intelligent, right? The idea of knowing who's good for who to date and who's not, who's good for you and who isn't, right? You don't date everybody. And look, in your young man days, yeah, you end up in bed with somebody but young people do but that's not building a life with these people. Um, and one of those things, a one night stand should not be what you build your life on, unless it's a super rare occurrence, right? You should be like, oh, we hung out, that was a year ago, that was a really great night. How you doing? Done. End of story, right? And you put all your real energy into this family or this girl or that girl, and yeah, I think the whole place is just emotionally unstable people and grand opportunists looking for the come up in relationships. Uh, I had a friend who was a school teacher. His father was a very influential person, super rich, super influential, and everybody liked him. Um, and then people started finding out his family lineage. And he told me, so he'd meet a girl and they'd hang out, and she'd be like, I don't really know how I feel about you, He's like 27, 28. People are trying to like find somebody to marry, and not just date like they're 21 or anything. They're like, but then as soon as they found out who his father was, all of a sudden their whole persona changed, and it was like, this is the best relationship. We are gonna go to, and he's like, what just happened? On a like coin you turned over. Like last week, we were just kind of like long silences and nobody talking to each other and wondering where this was going. Now all of a sudden, you're hanging on every word, and this wild and blinding love, apparently, and only because he was a get, right. I guess it's like you see those European princes and shit. When they walk into a room, they don't have to try really hard. People know that they come with all this dowry and all this bullshit, and it's a get to be married to the prince, right? Or princess or whatever. Like in America, and like if I work at nothing, if I pick grapes for a living and I run into Rosario Dawson, I loves me some Rosario Dawson, and we hit it off. And hey, all my friends gonna be like, "You are not. Why is she with what?" Right? It's amazing. She becomes a get, right? Um, but in your relationship, that's how other people see it. In your relationship, she's just your partner. He's just your partner. Uh, but this is why they stay in their own circles, right? Rich people marry rich people. Poor people marry poor people. Sorry to tell you, if your life turned around tomorrow and someone said, "Oh my God, I saw that thing you designed on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, that weird dance. We want to be in the you business, and we've got money and a TV show and a Netflix special, and we call it in the Black community the come up." And you get this come up of like, "Oh wow, I was making 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever I was making. And now I'm on Netflix, and last year I did 3 movies and 2 films and a CD, and I voiced a Diddy character. And I think my net earnings was around 70 million, right? But I still love my boyfriend, and, he's still my boyfriend. And when we met when we were in junior high school, and we've been together ever since, that's a come up, right? Um, that's like, yeah, people don't begrudge that come up. Um, and it makes sense that you stay with people that you know. But if you get to come up with nobody, then the next thing you're going to do is like, oh, now I'm dating Brad Pitt, Danny DeVito, whoever, right? Because you're not going to go back and from your giant area and your gated community to drive back to the streets to hang out with those people. That's why, by the way, that's always a bad sign. This is why rich folk don't stay in neighborhoods that they're from, because they become targets, right? And it's not always a chunk jewelry that they want to rob, right? I'm talking about black people now with the gold medallion, which is worth all this. Some people don't carry that, but if you're a rock star, just a random rock star, and who don't wear rock and roll stuff, and you walk from point A to point B, they know you have money. You can get robbed. Your children can be harassed. Your children can be kidnapped. So yeah, you move out of the poor, bad neighborhood. Yeah, people go, oh well, yeah, but it makes sense because you can have 100,000 people there, and one of them is a sinister murderer plotting against you, and you don't know who in that, So you have to. But at the end of the day, this all started about with emotional intelligence. It's about being emotionally resilient and emotionally intelligent. And I learned this sort of late. And I have emotional issues, right? I don't watch horror movies and I don't watch violence because it bothers me. It gives me nightmares, and I don't want to be. I've had to have fights. I don't want to be violent in the world. I was really reading this thing about the painter, um, not Bob Vila. He builds houses. Uh, Bob, oh boy, it'll come back to me. Uh, um, he paints happy little trees, right? He was a soldier. He was a instructor. Bob, what is his name? Um, and when he got out, 25 years of the military, being a drill instructor and essentially making soldiers for the government, right? How to be a soldier, how your bearing, and how to do all that, and yelling at people, put your hat on, get your stick your chest out. I didn't say look at me. And you're like, yes, sir. You say yes, sir. They didn't, all that yelling for 25 years. He was like, when he got out, he vowed to himself essentially never to raise his voice again. So now this is why you see him painting. What is his name? Bob. It's not Bob Vila. That's the home improvement guy, Bob. Uh, PBS painter, Bob Ross, right? Yeah, Bob Ross. Okay. And he was like, I'm never going to yell and scream or anything. So now you see him going, oh, happy little cloud. And I've always thought, man, I would love to just do two things. I would love to not raise my voice, always have a tone, right? And I would also love to stop cursing. But as soon as I begin to get loud, I start cursing. And I'm emotionally like a well, like you throw a log of a topic in my internal fire, and I'm gonna begin to bellow. But that's me. I know me, right? And I know when to look at it and tone it down. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't emotionally intelligent. Their parents just either told them, I'm thinking this, that you're special and you can get away with murder. And then they grow up and they're like, apparently I'm not special. And apparently no one else told these people that I can get away with murder. And people are like, no, you're just another schlub like the rest of us. Like the song says, right? Just a slob like one of us, just a stranger on the bus. And you're not special. And nobody's here to look after you or take after you or not even to be your friend. What kind of person are you? And then you're like, yeah. And then before you know it, you're a miserable adult. Grew up on opulence and money on American TV, then you move out and you live in a glorified outhouse, right? It's smaller than your closet in New York City, anyway. Not enough ends to work and save and go to school and maybe have a little fun on the weekends while you're saving. All that has become an impossibility. And now you're mad, but the people in charge go, you don't have this because of these other groups. So now you're mad and you begin to get hateful of these other groups. And every now and then you see one of these other groups with their giant house and cars and finery, and then you get extra mad, and then you blame, well, not civil rights, well, you blame, what is it when, what did they say Obama had when he didn't earn his way into this school? He got it through it's not direct, but they come up with 1,000 reasons why your hard work was not hard work. In an environment where a lot of people's hard work is not hard work, there's family connections and people in politics forever, and it gets sort of sad and miserable. Uh, we have been streaming for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We showed up about 15 minutes late. Okay, that's sort of a lie. We showed up about 18 to 20 minutes late. And our Sunday shows go from 7:30 to about 9:10, but they normally run longer than that, 10:30, 11. Uh, I'm feeling a little crizzle. And I didn't think I was going to be here this long. And we're still here talking about it. More than 230 people arrested in Nebraska anti-gang operation. 230 people. I mean, you shouldn't have gangs. And gangs should be smart enough to keep a low profile. But now they're all celebutants who want to tell you how they're gangs and put all their crime and shit on Instagram. I'm just kind of like, man, the showiness of these ridiculous men, ridiculous. Big nations must do more to limit climate change for little nations. I don't know. I think some things end. Maybe the water rising 50 feet ends your nation. Just like I think the water rising 50 feet should end your city. And why the fuck is New Orleans still a thing? It's in a bowl. The first thing after her Katrina, you should have been, we're gonna shut this city down and use just something else or fill it in to raise it. Like, but you got to get you got to get a plan. You just can't wait for it to fully go under and go, oh, New Orleans, RIP, 16 whatever to 20 whatever. How old is New Orleans anyway? Right? So if you were slowly raising all of New Orleans, I would get it. That would be sort of a national thing. It wouldn't be for the city. The nation would have to do it. The national government, the Washington, D.C. would have to do it. But those fucksticks can't get anything done. Anything done. Um, how old is New Orleans? Named after a place in France. Orleans. 1718 to let's say 2040 when this whole thing is supposed to get super ridiculous. Is New Orleans in a bowl? Da, 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 da. What phase is New Orleans in right now? This is a good question. 64.8% as of July 30th, 2021. New Orleans is a modified phase 3 of its COVID safe. Okay, that's COVID. Oh my God. So this, oh my God. You got to get these people out of fucking New Orleans. So this is New Orleans. Let's flop this around. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Everyone in New Orleans, get the fuck out of New Orleans now, please. Canal Street River, right? St. Louis Cathedral. There's a cathedral there. Uh, Esplanade at St. Clair, right? All this is the land. This is ridiculous. Elevation in feet. So this is about flood wall along the Mississippi. Hurricane protected levee and flood wall. Look at this. Normal lake, 1.0 feet level. What is this? Design elevation. Nobody should be living here. What is the population of New Orleans? That's ridiculous. No one should be living in a bowl. 390,000 people. That's enough to relocate. Oh, and it's going up. What is this? Jefferson Parish, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. 2018, 2018, 2018. Why? How is Jefferson Parish 432 then? Why does this says the population is 392? 383. Yeah, you need to get all these. Look at it. They have skyscrapers. You need to get all of these people out of here and make New Orleans a giant city of something else. Maybe diving, maybe give it to the Navy so they could do internal boat shit with it, right? Um, yeah, it's sort of dark, man. All right, so here he is at 10:10. I guess we're going to begin to wrap this up slowly because we've been streaming since 7:30 this Sunday morning. And we're over our end time by like an hour, which is fine. Uh, pa- 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 pa. Let's see something. I got an issue with my comments. I'm not getting any. Maybe that's not an issue. Maybe no one's here. um, Egypt selected as nominee to host. Yeah, Eyes of the World will be on Scotland for climate summit. Yeah, really, Scotland? Why? Uh, why are they the climate people? And New Zealand people and moths rediscover dark skies. The dark skies are a beautiful thing, man. What if we aren't the first advanced civilization on Earth? That's a loaded question. Uh, for all you know, the advanced civilization were the Mayans, right? They just didn't have cell phones and tech shit, but all the stuff they had was innovative and what's the word I'm looking for? Advanced for their day. So, what will advanced be like in 500 years? Just because you say they weren't civilized does not mean they were not civilized. Three valets killed by a driver in Southwest Houston. What is going on, people? How'd you kill the valet? Oh boy. All right, hold on. Some of these stories don't make any sense. I can't even see how. I don't understand how they even. Why would you kill a valet? Ah, my God! Like, see, oh, you some random dude working his day. You show up in his life and you murder him. Ah, look, I don't even know how I feel about this. I don't know. Should the most sinister price be paid for the person who? Hello, Miss Williams. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the comments. Uh, should the harshest penalty be given to the person who kills someone they know, like a guy who kills his wife? Like you told everyone, and you stood before God that you married this person, and then you kill. Should that be the harshest thing, or should the harshest thing be to randomly enter someone's life and murder them off? You didn't know them, you didn't have anything against them. You see what I'm saying? They're both so sinister in my mind. I can't even tell which one is worse, right? I mean, good lord. And the thing about the sinister thing about the second part of it is some random guy killing. It could be you, it could be me, it could be him, it could be her, right? Versus the guy who 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 or girl who kills their spouse to have children with, and everybody knows they're a unit. How is that not sinister, but also just this random guy you had nothing you I don't know. I mean, there should be a ladder, and some of this stuff I just kind of like, oh my god. All right. Um so these random dudes just trying to, oh man, this isn't even random dude just trying to keep the lights on, and you murder three of them off. Three valet workers killed when driver tries to flee. Oh, so he's just super exceptionally stupid. Three valet workers killed when driver tries to flee police after West Houston donut stunt. So he was spinning his car in loops like they do in the movies, and the cops like woo woo woo. Then he took off, and in his speeding away, he killed 3 people. Yeah, okay, the world is done with you. Just the vileness of it, just the stupidness of it. And I blame his parents who raises a person like this and releases them into the wild, right? Where we are all just sitting here. It don't make any sense. 3 Houston valet workers are dead after a suspect involved in the police pursuit struck them at a very high speed. You ever seen anybody struck at a super high speed with a car? People sort of like implode, right? It's like it's like dropping a brick on like a frog. Like all that flat gooiness just kind of everywhere. I mean, it's a grisly thing. And here's another thing. I don't think you should be showing pictures of this stuff in newspapers. But people have an idea of, oh my God, police violence, not police violence. Oh my God, gun violence. And because they see movies and there'll be a little trickle of blood, but man, people get shot. There's a fucking pool of blood. I mean, and I, it's I just think people are comfortable with violence because Hollywood has portrayed violence almost in this Disney-like way. Um, and some of this stuff is just grisly and gruesome. I also believe that if you show some of this stuff from war, American people will be like, I'm not for war as much anymore. I mean, why do we have to keep warring? You know, and the Pentagon will be like, don't. This is why the Pentagon is like, don't show dead soldiers, don't show bloody people, don't show people with missing arms. And the reason why you see it now because they have a generation of young people who are military now who grew up with technology that the sergeants and generals didn't know, right? So smartphones and pictures. So when the Iraq War happened, there was all this stuff. Live Leak made a fortune of it, of soldiers putting up battle footage, right? Everybody had their own cell phone, and you see a guy with his arm missing and the medic tying him up. There's that famous clip on YouTube where one of the soldiers is like, don't worry about it, man. You still got your right arm, right? I think the guy was a guitarist or pianist. You still got your right arm, right? I mean, you still right with, so and I guess that's battlefield comedy, I guess, where you have to make fun of like dark shit like this. But I was like sitting there watching this guy just kind of like get tourniqueted. He still had his fatigues on and his helmet because it's a war zone, just getting tourniqueted so they could get him out of there, so they could get him to a hospital because he just had his arm. I think that his arm was shot off, not blown off. Because blown off, he would have more damage all over him. I wonder if we could find that video. We're not going to show it, but I think he might have been. How about soldier loses arm in? I want to say Iraq video. Is this the one? Is this the one? No, he lost an arm. He lost all 4 limbs. Oh, wow. Oh, I feel for you. Yeah, these are. I mean, and then you gotta look after these guys, and I'm pretty sure he'd be. See, like, look at her shirt. This is what I mean by military kind of like humor. I would be like offended, but this is right. It's not. They're my people. They're my countrymen, but it's not really my tribe. 707th. I don't know what that says. Sergeant Stumpy lost both her arms. Right. This is what other people. This is funny. Military humor made a shirt out of it. She's wearing the shirt made out of it. Right. So it's not like somebody put the. She'll walk around with other military people will be like, oh yeah. So I mean, it's an amazing thing. But yeah, the guy had his arm, and the other guy was joking, but I think the other guy had a leg wound. They were like, "Don't worry about it, man." There are like all these injured people. Ooh, but I think if you saw more of this, and this was, this is why the military is having a hard time getting people to join up. Nobody wants to join up. And I get why. I fucking get why. Now this is because the guy was literally standing up. He was. Is this the guy? No. I mean, he was sitting up. He wasn't leaning up against. He was sitting up, and the medic was working on him. I was just kind of like, wow, what? Got a lot of respect for those guys. All right, let's get through this. I don't think we need to read much more of this because we know what happened. At high speed, he essentially dumped his car into 3 people after an officer saw people doing donuts in a private parking lot. Idiot. 10:30 p.m. local time. At 10:30, you're an idiot. Yeah, look, I don't do donuts, but if I was gonna be doing donuts, it'd be like 2 in the morning, local time, before the driver drove eastbound with the officers in pursuit. Accelerated at a very high speed, striking the victim before crashing in a ditch. Yasser Bashir, an assistant chief with the Houston police, said in a press conference. The victims whose names were not released were pronounced dead at the scene. They didn't even make it to the hospital. While the driver and his passengers were involved in this, were transported to a hospital, said Bashir. He noted they sustained non-life-threatening injuries and that the driver potentially impairment was being investigated. So what is the culpability of the people in the car? If this was the 70s, you charge them all with murder because, let's face it, open fucking nonsense in the 70s with the justice system, as always. Now, I don't know if you charge anybody but the driver. And you look at how old the people who were in the car, if they were younger, then it's endangering the welfare of minors on the driver, right? Anybody got a probation violation, right? You send everybody, but it's 10:30. It's not like it's 3 in the morning, and then they're high. Why are you doing donuts? What is my responsibility to get you not to be a knucklehead in the car while I'm sitting next to you? Don't do fucking donuts. What are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna do whatever I want, and then you can't hop out. He's driving, right? We're out here because one person decided they didn't want to get a ticket or potentially go to jail for a misdemeanor. Chief of Harris County Attorney's Office Vehicular Crime Division said at briefing. This is him grandstanding. We're out here because that. Shut up and just tell us what the fucking facts are. Because this is what I hate about this. This grandstanding. We're just tell us what he did and what you're gonna do about it, other than your bullshit couch racist opinion. Because when the fucking cops in Harris County do something stupid, you don't say the same thing about them. This is why no one trusts the system anymore. You gotta have faith in the judicial system, right? Just like the ladies in the military have to have faith that the military brass is going to take their sexual complaints seriously, right? Some of these blacks in the military are going to take their complaints seriously. And okay, what is the complaints I hear from the military? People aren't getting promoted, right? People are the first to be thrown in harm's way, the first to be suspended, or what do they call it when you go to trial? What do they call it when you did something bad? I'm the general. I'm going to throw you in court. That's you know what I'm talking about. Court martial. He noted that the authority estimated the driver sped 60 miles an hour, even if intoxicated. What you're going to say? I wasn't drunk. That's better. That what's better? First of all, doing donuts sober at 10:30 p.m., idiot, and then driving away and killing 3 people because you're a bad driver, and then telling the judge, "Oh no, I wasn't drinking. I did this clear-eyed and sober." And no one gives anybody any sympathy for being a drunk driver, right? So, what other than I was a stupid idiot? Please, though, this is what you throw yourself on the mercy of the court for, right? Oh man, I was a moron. I can't even explain why I did the stupid thing I did. Please, judge. I apologize to the family and the friends, and I know I can't, but please, don't throw me in jail forever. Please let me somehow get out one day. That's throwing yourself on the mercy. You can't go, please just give me 5, give me a year for each of these guys, and I'll be good tomorrow. Right? You have, because you're gonna get 1,000 years. So if he gave you 10 per person, that's still 30 years, right? And you will be thankful to get 30 years to kill 3 people. Good. So you're not gonna tell what? So I would. What you can't? What are you gonna say? I wasn't drunk. I was perfectly sober. But this is a horrible misunderstanding, and I would like to go home, Your Honor. He noted that the authorities estimated the driver sped up to 60 miles an hour, and even if intoxication played a role, the suspect would face felony murder charge for each of the victims. Each count of which carries a sentence of anywhere from 5 years to life in prison. This is the bullshit. If it's felony murder, which implies I set out to murder you, which this doesn't look like it is, but then you give these stupid fucking sentences which allow racists to flourish in the Justice Department. 5 years to life? What? That's too broad a spectrum. If it's felony murder, 30 to life, 50 to life, I get. But anywhere from 5 years to 99 years is bullshit. It's bullshit. 5 years to life. This is so they can give their friends 5 years, 3 years suspended, and 2 years probation, and you can go home on your DWI without doing a day in jail, right? But it also lets the guy who that you don't like, you can give him 99 years for a DWI. This covers racism in the system more than it's about punishing people. We're talking about 3 individuals who were just out here working. They were out here doing their job. They were coming back from parking cars, going to get more cars. Terrier said T-A-R-E-R, T-R. Police are still in the process of positively identifying the driver while he was doing the stunts, and his passenger, said Terrell, who believed the latter was pretty severely injured, for which the driver might also face charges. So his passenger was hurt fairly badly, but not willing to die from. So maybe the crash broke his leg and smashed his face and broke and fucked up his ribs, but that's not going to kill him. Yeah, the driver's going to face charges for that. If he's intoxicated, that's going to be an additional charge. Look at us. We're just piling charges on. Look at us. Yeah, you can see people who shouldn't be in charge of other people a lot. You really can. If he's intoxicated, that's going to be an additional aggravated fact on top of the fact that he just snatched 3 people's lives for no reason. Yeah, nobody's got time for this guy. He done himself in, right? He was extra stupid that day. Extra stupid. Doing donuts in a parking lot. That's wild enough. But doing donuts in a parking lot at 10:30 when anybody is driving by can see you, it's extra stupid. It's 10:30. It's not 2 in the morning when most people are home in bed, right? It's 10:30. It's 10:30. Oh my God. 10:30 p.m. doing donuts. While you may or may not, and it's not hard to find out if he was intoxicated or not, right? They can take a blood strip at the hospital. So you're gonna know. Wow. The saddest thing, man. I don't even know what to tell you about that. That has to be the stupidest story I've heard this week. Um, it reminds me of the guy. There was this guy who was trying to pick up this pregnant lady. This story must be 15 years old now. Um, and he's in a dump truck, a pickup, like not a pickup truck, like an actual giant dump truck with the back goes up and dumps out all the coal and shit. And she's on the passenger side, and he's yo baby, da, 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 da. And the woman he's trying to talk to is pregnant. He's trying to baby get your phone number, and he runs her over. He kills her. I was like, what? So yeah, it's just, and there's another one. One guy, another dump truck story, hopped in the dump truck for taking for a joyride. Didn't know how to hide because it's not a fucking car or pickup truck. It's a giant dump truck. Didn't know how to handle the stick shit. Got away from him. Ran over a guy and a girl and her dog. Killed her. Giant dump truck. Another one that I remember was, I just had it, then I lost it. But yeah, those 2 dump truck stories don't make any sense. Give me a second. Don't make any sense at all. I'm not making any more coffee. I just put the kettle on, then I cut it off because I'm not making any more coffee. Because I have this coffee here. It's full, but it has been here since about 7:30, which makes it 3 hours old. So, I mean, yeah, what was that other one where the guy ended up going to jail over something completely stupid? Ugh, just, yeah. But those two dump truck stories are absolutely true. They're amazing to me. Ran over the woman you're trying to pick up who was pregnant. Why are you trying to hit on? Why are you hitting on pregnant ladies? You freak, right? And on top of that, you ran her over with a dump truck. It just it's goofy. Look, I know it's hard. Don't fall for the crime and stuff, but some people don't even try to keep themselves in the gene pool. Some people do utterly stupid, ridiculous shit that you have to scratch your head at, and then wonder who raised them and what philosophy did you send them out into the world with. I meet a lot of stupid people. I hate to say it. Everything like, look, I love hip hop music and hip hop culture when I was a kid, but now the culture, it's not hip hop. It's just loud music and aggressive. I'll do whatever I want. Ness in the environment, and the people who run the environment will tell you, no, you won't. What are you doing? You're living as a free range chicken, waiting to be arrested. Apparently, I wonder what my. I should go get it. One second. Yep, it's out. Here's the thing: these things don't burn forever. Put that here. Ashtray, please. Lighter. So I've begun burning. I'm always burning stuff. My ex hated that I burn incense, so I stopped burning incense in the house for the 3 years we were together, 3 or 4 years we were together. But it's something that I like that I gave up doing, and when we broke up, I went right back to doing it. I would burn. I had the dog in the house, Sydney, and I never realized like if she liked it or not. So I didn't burn a lot of them. There was always by an open window, and it wasn't ridiculously, but yeah, it was. That dog was awesome. I'd get another dog tomorrow if I could get another Sydney. But that would defeat the purpose, right? Every relationship isn't supposed to be the same relationship. So even if you love that dog, people talk about, I'm going to give him clone. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. Um, you're not an idiot, but you shouldn't clone your dog. You should just get another dog. Dogs need love. Find another dog to show that you love that dog, right? Um, I say a lot. I gotta stop saying. So yeah, we've got the sage cooking. Pretty nice. And we've got the breeze going in here. It's blowing out. Ugh. The spitting is the problem, though. All right, let me stick this in the other room. Ooh-wee. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see. Is it? And the moon is the only light we see, or the only sight we see? No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't. Jenna to your command. All right. What? Trying to get my lyrics right since I'm trying to be a singer songwriter. Stand by me. Stand by me. Lyrics. Lyric genius. Here we go, baby bubba. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we see. Okay. And the moon's the only light we see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid just as long as you stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea. Pretty good lyrics. All right. I guess that will do it for us. It is 10:30. We said we normally hang out around 10:30, and it is 10:30. We have been streaming for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I want you to get up. Remember, this counts as church or synagogue or mosque. So you're good for 2 weeks for coming through here. As long as you spent 10 minutes. I know it's up from the last time. The last time it was 5 minutes. Now it's 10 minutes. You spent 10 minutes here, you're good for 2 weeks. I drop prayers and blessings upon you. And if you don't believe in any of that, then I drop good hope. What is it? Atheist style, good luck and hope upon you. How's that? I lose something for everybody. We will see you in the next one. The next one is tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Every day, Monday through Saturday, 6:30 p.m. We're here doing it. Come on through. Let's close this. Perfect. And please like and subscribe. It helps me. It helps the channel. We're here every day. Be a part of some of these conversations. Pick up a new hobby. We're doing that. And we got love for you. Don't know you personally, but I've got love for you. I wish you well as long as you wish other people well and you're not out there doing evil. I'm not trying to wish you well while you're freaking shoving kittens in the boxes and sinking them in the sea or something just as sinister. And I think the outside world pushes in on you and you think everybody's the enemy. It's not everybody. You've got allies. I've got allies. We've all got allies. And we've also got enemies. And generally our enemies are in the government enriching themselves. And what is going on out there? Enriching themselves and making... All right. That's none of my business. That's none of my business. Enriching themselves and making your life kind of hard when they should be doing the opposite. I don't mind that they get rich, but at least do something while you're there for the people. So that's where I'm at. I want to thank you for coming through, for spending a little bit of your time with me. Your time is valuable. I know it, and I'm appreciative of the time that you spent with me. And I hope you'll come back and do it again in the next one. And the next one is tomorrow. And tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. We're full steam ahead, no stops. Come get some. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Your day, whatever this day